Alright, well, we are back. I'm recording this session, not streaming it, just because of my internet recently. But I am, of course, Adrian, the Dungeon Master for tonight. I'm Lee6113 on the Discord group, Adrian Lee on Facebook, of course. And we're joined by 5 players tonight. And let me actually fix this because I just messed up the GM. Okay. 1 second, as I am having technical difficulties. Okay, there we go. So, we are resuming the Palace Adrift game. This is, I guess, sort of a sequel or a part 2. It's the return. And we are joined by 4 of the same players and 1 additional. We'll start off kind of with the characters on Roll20, these ones on top. And we'll just start off with a quick introduction from left to right. Starting off with Theron.
Theron, level 5 rogue, high elf, like shooting stuff.
And next is Elizabeth.
Hello, my name is Elizabeth Bethany Gren. There is still a problem, but don't worry, we're going to fix it. I'll do what I do best. I heal.
Okay, and next over, Mr. Elvish.
Hello, I am Elvish Presley, a level 5 bard, and I just made a friend.
And next up,
My name's Glennon. I'm a level 6 divination wizard, and I actually saved her friend.
this is true.
Yes.
Now, we are also going to be introducing a new character. If you would like to do just a quick introduction, and I can leave it, if you want to keep it brief or expand on it, however much you want to put into it. But we'll be starting here in a moment, and you can actually do an in-character introduction if you prefer, because that's where we are going to begin. But Eric, if you want to just introduce yourself.
I'm playing Isabella. She is a Hispanic-looking princess. She is the daughter of Duke Orson and the niece of the queen, the ruler of this area. She is quite. She has been introduced more why she's coming along in character introduction, and then her bodyguard down here, Fernando.
Perfect. And then last game, just to do a quick kind of sign out, we had Rebecca playing Miles. Miles is now being tasked to run back to the guild hall and do a quick report back, considering this dungeon is still open. And I guess that leads us to a quick kind of recap. In the previous adventure, there was a dungeon spawned over the Palace of Neria, which is kind of one of the northwestern kingdoms ruled by Queen Yvona. And there's been a series of these dungeons for several years now at this point, where kind of portals, or this is a rift for this one, have spawned throughout their kingdom. There's been one incident outside of their kingdom following one of the adventurers of the Dungeon Delvers Guild. But this one, it was right above the palace, and so this kind of rift portaled open between this shard world of the kind of crystal gem world that you all adventured in previously, and you were, as adventurers in the Dungeon Delvers Guild, were tasked to go and close this, retrieving what they call the dungeon anchor, which is kind of the source of why the dungeon was spawned. And this can either be a powerful artifact or a terrible item, something that is the reason the dungeon popped into existence. And you believe you've identified the anchor to be the Queen's old journal, or so you've been led to believe. And this was kind of almost feeling like some sort of negative energy, or not quite necrotic, but some sort of dark powered item, and it was dropped down into the abyss, and you all were able to use a warp stone to kind of transport yourselves back to where the kingdom of Neria was, just outside the palace, and you saw the collapse of the palace just happening right in front of you as the portal entrance began to widen and swell up and basically destroyed a big wing of the palace. And this is where you are currently. Miles kicks his horse and gallops off into the streets behind you, taking a report back to the Dungeon Delvers Guild. And that leaves the 4 of you, Theron, Elizabeth, Elvish, and Glennon, standing here in the presence of Duke Orsino, along with the Dragonborn, kind of the priest. His name is Leonard, and he speaks only Draconic, but Elvish, I believe you've now, with your level up, you can now communicate with him, kind of learning by pure necessity the spell of tongues, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Do
before
you happen? That's good. Go for it.
I was just going to say, before you're kind of standing in one of the central pavilions in kind of the courtyard, which they've assembled just outside. The queen has still been evacuated. She's not to be found anywhere near this region since the dungeon spawned, which was, I think, about 2 days ago or something like that. And there's palace guards kind of swarming around, not so much readying for an attack, but more doing damage control, kind of getting the common folk out of the way and kind of clearing some of the rubble. And then the Duke is basically resummoned you back into this pavilion, and this is kind of where you find yourselves.
Elvish, I see that you want to talk to a friend. Do you happen to have the item that you need to make that spell work? Because if not, I have an extra one. And I pull out a clay ziggurat. I don't know if you actually have, if you made one or if you have one. If not, now you have one.
Thank you. I much appreciated.
Anytime. I'm gonna roll my 3d20 Portent dice just so I don't forget.
Awesome.
Oh, well,
Those-
okay. I mean, all right. I'll take those, I guess.
Some generous rolls.
On the enemy, but those would be good to use on allies.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I mean, there might be some good use for those coming up. But so Glyn and you kind of hand Elvish this piece, and the Dragonborn is wearing kind of very foreign-looking robes, olive green. He's kind of a little hunched in his shoulders, but he still stands like 6'3", even with his hunch. And he kind of is very lithe, very skinny, and kind of steps with very long legs after you all. His two hands kind of put into their sleeves. And it's kind of almost like a monk's robe, but much more priest-like. He doesn't look like a ninja type monk, very much more like almost a librarian style monk. But he's kind of just following along your group, seeing as he doesn't speak any of your language, and he's trying to stick close to who he knows. He knows Elizabeth can speak Draconic, and so he's probably trying to follow along after you a little bit. Is there anything you wish to do prior to entering Duke Orsino's tent?
Can I tie a rope around an arrow?
Okay, yep, you can prep your arrow to be kind of more of a grappling hook arrow, if that's what you'd like to do. Anybody else, or shall you proceed?
Can I buy 2 extra rope?
Yeah, if you want to request extra rope, there are definitely guards nearby which can run around and grab stuff for you. It's not going to be like silk or anything magical, but you can definitely get another like hempen 100-foot rope if you want.
Yes, hemp for rope. Yeah.
Yep. And a 100-foot rope is it's rather bulky if you've ever held that much rope. You can sling it on, but it's a lot.
It's either gonna be like slide over my chest, kind of like a sash, or like tied to the back of my backpack, not in it but on it. You know.
Okay. Yep. For sure. So the curtains kind of part ways. The guards pull it back, and you can see Duke Orsino almost arguing with his daughter. You see Isabella. There's kind of a hastily crafted or moved over like assembly table with kind of just a paper parchment rolled across the board, and there's some crude drawings of the palace and then the rift above it, and it looks like he's kind of pointing at it. And he's with raised voices. He's speaking with Isabella, and we'll go ahead and introduce you if you want to give a quick character description, or I guess if you just look like your avatar.
She is very tan skin, Hispanic kind of descent. She is in her mid-20s, very young and pretty. And next to her is Fernando, her handsome bodyguard who stands who's silent most of the time, but is he is dressed in chainmail, has a very nice sword, and is dressed in palace kind of like what may look like fancier guard uniform.
Okay,
He's
excellent.
probably not in like a huge fancy ball gown at this point, since he's probably not going to know, since he's trying to or wanting to, since he's going eventually he'll dress down a little bit, but still very fancy clothes.
Yeah, very, very wealthy looking, I would say, for sure, even if it's kind of more adventuring gear. But Duke Orsino looks completely put out, and he points his finger over at Fernando, and he says, "Don't you let anything happen to my daughter. Do you understand me? Your life, her life above yours."
Your wish, as always, is my command, my Duke.
And he kind of looks over at you, Isabella, and he shakes his head and said, "Were it not the Queen's wish, you would not even be here. Be safe, stick with your guard. Let me introduce you to the rest." And he turns to Elvish
Yes,
Glennon.
yeah, I'll be careful. Fernando won't let anything happen to me.
And as the party kind of approaches, he motions to Isabella and he says, "This is your new companions. Isabella, she's the princess, my daughter, and Fernando, she's her loyal bodyguard. She will be joining you by the Queen's express wishes."
Well,
So
hopefully
these
she can hold her own in a fight.
I'm not babysitting now.
Yeah, I mean, if she dies, it's on him. And I point to Fernando.
I am an intelligent young woman. Granted, I have not fired a bow out in combat, but I know how. I am a fine archer. I win the palace archery competition every year, and Fernando is very good at fighting.
From my understanding of your reports, there should need to be any fighting. All you must simply do is retrieve that book, that anchor, and then it should close up.
There was
What was that?
a thing we had to deal with. So there are dangers. Do not
But
take it lightly.
you finished them, though, yes?
There might be more. Do not expect the unexpected.
I am perfectly aware that there may be dangers involved, but thanks to this adventuring party or something within that dungeon, my room now has a new skylight, and now everything I own has been destroyed. Someone must deal with this.
With all due respect, Miss Isabella, if you have time to complain, you have time to help. We made a mistake. We are fully aware of this. We're going to fix it. And skylights are nothing to complain about.
I have time to. I am. That is exactly what I am doing. I am coming along.
Then stop complaining. I am just as frustrated as you that everything has gone horribly awry. Your help is much appreciated, but if you have time to complain, you can shoot your bow.
The
Elvish
Dragonborn.
slowly pats her head to calm her down.
The Dragonborn just watches silently and cluelessly from the back. But he is anxious to go back home.
She would speak up in Dragonic and says, "And this is the dragon that you have, the Dragonborn you have brought with you."
Elizabeth replies in Draconic, yes.
Welcome to what is left of our lovely home, sir. I am Princess Isabella. Me and my father bid you welcome.
You said that in Dragonborn, yes?
Yes.
He would his eyes widen a little bit, and then he kind of bows and he says, in Draconic, so again, only Elizabeth. And if Elvish, did you cast your spell or no?
Since it's prevalent, I would probably take an action to do so.
Okay. Yeah. So
As we have-
you kind of like cut in and kind of understand Isabella halfway through what she's saying. But you get the gist that she's welcoming him, and then the Dragonborn says back in Draconic, "I apologize that the rift from my world to yours caused such decimation. I am eager to return. My sworn oath is to protect the crystal crypts, and I must return. So expedience would be appreciated." And he looks over at the rest of the party as well, to see if everybody is ready to go.
I do have one question. How are we gonna get back?
If you can,
Because the
I guess you wouldn't be able to answer that question because he doesn't know what you said.
No, he does. He understands any language it hears with tongues. He can understand us, and we can understand him.
Is that on Elvish or on him?
Did you cast it on yourself, Elvish, or on the Dragonborn?
I cast it on myself.
Oh, okay, then no, never mind. Only you. Never mind.
Sorry.
It's all good.
But if Theron were to speak that out, and either any of the three Draconic speakers now were to translate that, he would remind that there are multiple warp stones within the Shard world.
And presumably this stone would take entering the rift would take us to a undamaged one.
The rift is not a warp stone. The rift is caused by the dungeon anchor. Whatever magic, foul or evil it has torn open the fabric of our universe and melded it into yours. And he motions up at the sky. And Duke Orsino, who does not speak Draconic, is kind of looking towards his daughter to translate as he's speaking. But he points up to the sky where this almost upside down tornado, or actually like it looks like a tornado almost, this funnel of black magic, kind of sort of sucking things in from the bottom at this point. He points to it and says, "Whatever magic caused that, if you can destroy it or remove it, that should close, and we can return you via the warp stones."
I am prepped and ready. If you the rest of you need a rest, or the kitchens and the guest quarters were in the wing that was not destroyed. If you need a rest,
Are
Yeah.
you offering us a place to rest where there is no place to rest to further your complaining about how there is a part of the castle missing?
I said the guest quarters were not in the wing that were destroyed.
Yeah, if everybody hadn't taken a long rest at this point, because some of you leveled up, you can all basically have had a long rest in the period between, because it would have taken them a little bit of time to kind of restage get the reports and kind of restage a plan to send you guys all back in. They will also increase the reward if you guys can go back in, retrieve the dungeon anchor, and close the rift. Then it will be 1,000 gold pieces per adventurer. So
Woot woot.
you can all basically have taken the effects of a long rest at this point, and then everyone could have had their level ups and whatnot.
Awesome. Oh. Elvish would be hope for doing it as soon as possible for his dragon friend.
Yeah, I mean, I just need to make sure I cast myself with some protective magic as we head in there, and then I'm good for the day. So. Is the rift still in the same place as it was last time?
It is.
Okay. Well, shall we go? Have anything holding us?
Nope, let's go.
Alright, I'm going to touch myself on the shoulder, and I'm going to cast Mage Armor. I'm going to hop on my broom and casually float up in to the portal.
I'm gonna yell behind you. What about those who can't fly?
How much do you weigh?
97 pounds.
Hop on my broom. I can carry up to 400 pounds total, and I'm at 197 with all of my gear right now. So you can hop on my broom with me and we can casually float up in there.
Cool. And what about the other two?
If anyone who wants to stand underneath the rift, the kind of portal, because now there's active like suction going up into it, you can just get close from the bottom and it'll go up.
Elvish is gonna do that.
Elizabeth will fly up.
Not swinging like last time.
Not thinking like I was
Well,
like,
Fernando, who would be like right on her heels, would actually would probably take her hand, and so they wouldn't get caught separated in the storm, but they would both float up.
Okay. So they both go in. So it's basically like this. So Glidden and Theron fly straight up. You feel the kind of sensation of you popping out of the material plane and directly into this shard universe, or shard plane of the crystallites. Elizabeth, you just take flight, and with your own wings, you sail up into it. Elvish and Leonardo kind of step into the kind of over the rubble of the collapsed rooms. You can still see part of the ballroom, the windows all shattered and kind of the pillars cracked and splintering and kind of leaning over. And you along with the princess and her guard begin to like stumble over some of this debris until you can just feel the winds kind of sucking up at your robes and they're billowing around you. And then you just raise your arms and float up into the tornado almost. Same with Isabella and Fernando. And with that, you all safely travel through the rift into the shard world. I don't know if I can get you all with one copy and paste since you're so large. Alright, is that everybody? It is, you just stacked. Okay. So Glennon and Theron, you fly through. Everything turns this ambient green around you again. The night sky is no longer dark. It's all brilliantly lit, but instead of kind of a blue like you'd see if you looked outside, it's just everything's green tinted. There's clouds. There's lots of these floating rocks kind of just floating about. And there's nothing below you. You pop out into the sky on your broom. Elizabeth appears behind you, and you also notice this. There's where you landed beforehand up through this kind of tower thing. That's all gone. There's nothing around you except just empty air. And that's when Elvish and Leonardo and Fernando and Isabella come. You kind of get sucked up through this tornado, and immediately the all gravity returns, and you begin to feel yourself getting pulled down, and you begin to free fall. And as you kind of spin and look around, there's nothing below you but clouds.
not again!
So you four are actively falling.
God,
Can I shoot my longbow at him?
At who? Or at what?
Can I shoot my longbow at Elvish with the rope?
Okay. You can roll an attack.
Oh wait, Glitter, or can we hold them or not?
No.
Oh, we can't.
Let me look at the specifics, but I'm pretty sure if we exceed it, we start to fall. The broom stops hovering when we land. I can carry up to
What?
400 pounds. It's 30 feet. Yeah, if we carry more than 400 pounds, we're going to start falling slowly, but we're gonna fall.
Okay. Is there anything like ground that's going to be underneath me anytime?
Make a perception check.
I have another fall at least.
Can make a perception.
Yes, I will make a perception. Perception. 13.
13. So you can see far below is just another big white cloud. Around it, there doesn't seem to be anything immediately there. For 6 seconds, I think we've had this conversation where you actually fall very quickly if you're free falling, and you just within that 6 seconds you poof through the cloud. Your clothing is a little bit wet from that, and you just below you just see more and more space just falling with nothing in sight at all. More clouds maybe further down, but there is no bottom. It doesn't look like.
can.
It's
So I'm gonna lean the broom down, and so we're going to basically fly down, and I'm going to try and. I look at Theron. Trust me, I know what I'm doing. Hop off the broom real fast. I can catch you back.
I'll jump off.
And I'm going to dive bomb as far down as I can go, because I can go 60 feet per movement
Mhm.
with just me on here. And so I'm gonna dive and just go down as far as I can go, as fast as I can go,
Okay.
to see how far we are from the ground, or if there even is a ground.
Okay, yeah. So with that, you'll go, let's say 4 times your speed. What is that? So 60 times 4, so
That'd
240.
be 240.
Okay,
I
so
think
with
it's 60 feet. It's 50 feet, so I can go 200 feet per
Okay.
per turn.
So with that, and we're not necessarily in a turn order, but just kind of keeping the
Yeah.
concept of rounds. Everybody's free falling. Let's quite a bit. I mean, we'll just say it's 100 feet per round. Is it per second?
Well, you know, try to make herself like use the folds for dress, like spreading her arms to try to like parachute her, like when they like air jump to try to like give a little bit of steering and
Mhm.
she's
Almost like the squirrel suit type thing.
yeah.
So Glennon will say that you actually bypass the falling companions and you kind of burst through another set of clouds. You still see there's nothing below that set. It just continues to fall and fall. There's no ground in sight. You're now just a little bit below Elvish, Leonardo, Fernando, and Isabella. Leonardo doesn't really know what to do. He's just following, and he's like seems to be resigned to death, maybe.
Well,
I have an idea. She yells out in a great and as loud as she can. Great old one, I know you are out here.
Okay. Roll
in the
a-
name.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, we are friends of your friend Leonardo and friends of the the people of Neria. Please come to our aid and bring us to land.
Okay.
I will make sure you will rewarded.
Roll a persuasion check. Elizabeth. Everyone hold hands like people do when they're skydiving.
I think if I want to spend a majesty point to get advantage on this.
If Elizabeth, I have a question. How much does Isabella weigh?
I haven't rolled it, but she's wouldn't weigh much. But I think I will spend 1 majesty point for advantage on this.
Okay. Okay, 26. That's very good. So, Elizabeth, were you wanting to do something as well? So, Glennon starts to dive bomb. Now, did I hear correctly you detached Theron from your thing, so he's now falling as well?
yeah, because my thought is because I can
Mhm.
fly twice
Faster.
as fast, I can always come back up and just snag him out of the air if
Okay.
he's falling. I should be able to double back in that
Okay.
time.
So he's starting to free fall as well, much farther up than everybody else. Elizabeth, are you just hovering, or are you wanting to start falling down as well?
I mean, my thing is that I can fly, but I'm scared of trying to hold somebody because I'll start falling too.
Yeah.
But I know that Theron is only 97 pounds. Elizabeth is not strong, but maybe with her feet talons, she can hold on to Theron.
Okay.
I feel like if I roll a successful enough strength save, I can at least do that. Because I'm not sure if I can carry anybody else.
Okay. Do you want to make a quick perception check for me as well?
All right, I'll make a perception check.
And would it be too much of a stretch to say Elvish wanted to go with Leonardo so he would be next to him?
Yeah, because you're falling at the same speed. Because Elvish, how heavy are you?
I am 100 even.
Yeah, so he's a little bit heavier than you, but not super much. Yeah, if you wanted to try to kind of get next to him, you can with yours.
I kind of wanted to get Leonardo to get hold on to me and see if we can hold on to each side of my two-person tent, kind of like a two-person parachute.
That's genius.
Follow it
Yeah. For you, you also roll a persuasion check for me, please.
down. Okay, persuasion.
as well, but I don't think he would have brought it.
Persuasion.
Okay, yeah. He looks at you what you're doing, and you can actually speak in Draconic now, and so he kind of gets the idea, and he follows your lead, and you begin to unfurl your backpack tent, kind of undo the clips, and begin to jimmy rig this huge parachute. Theron, you can see it falling down towards you as well. Elizabeth, you can see with a 15 that all of these rocks and stuff there's several that are still around, but they're hundreds of feet away still. So there's ways you can get to, quote, land, unquote. But for now, everybody's falling so quickly that if you wanted to try to grab Theron, you'd be able to just dive bomb down and kind of catch him if you wanted to. And it's not so much like a jerk stop, so much as you grab him and just kind of slowly start to settle down while you're flopping your wings.
I'll try and do that. What would you have me roll for it to try to stop Theron from falling?
It would just be an athletics check, I believe.
I am not good at athletics, but let's give it a try.
Can I give you inspiration?
Can you do that in mid-fall?
I have no idea.
I think you're a little bit further down.
Yeah, never mind. I retract my statement.
I'm not that strong.
Okay, so you're able to grab onto him, but you're not able to stop him from falling yet. So you're essentially like holding onto his shoulders or his backpack straps or something, but you're both essentially following together still. The good news is there's no impact in sight that you can tell. Isabella, let's see, Glennon, you're flying down. Isabella shouts into the air. Fernando is just your guard, so I think you have to tell him to do something if you want him to do anything, right?
Right now, he just, all his actions except for moving require an action by me.
Okay, so what is he doing basically? If anything,
Sticking closest to me, but probably still holding hands to keep them being separated.
Okay. So Isabella, you can see from one of these rocks off in the distance, you see movement.
The gigantic dragon?
Did you roll a perception check?
No, I didn't.
Okay. It's not a dragon. It looks to be something green, winged, and large, but it seems to be flying towards you, almost dive bombing down as well, but on an interception course. And it is some sort of giant fowl-looking thing.
No, not the dragon I was expecting, but if it's coming to hell, she says, I'll quietly just help. Not the dragon I was expecting, but if it's coming to hell.
Okay. Elvish, will you please roll a sleight of hand check for me? And then Glennon, I'll need to know what you're doing next as well.
Good.
You let go of the tent on accident, and it flies up out of your hands, unfurling itself but above you, and you lose hold of your tent.
Okay, does Leonardo still have the other side?
Oh, you roll another sleight of hand for me.
Please be better. 19!
So Leonardo does hang on to it, and it kind of flutters out of your hand, but it's now like flapping up. But he's got it, so it doesn't. You don't lose it, but you have to essentially grab it again to be able to try. Oops, that's drawing tool. Glennon, what are you doing?
Well, I'm still dive bombing as fast as I can with the intent to see how far we have before we hit the ground. Trying to obviously not let the whole party go splat. So I'm diving as quickly as I can down, and then if I see ground, I'm gonna do that for, let's say, 1,000 feet.
So you're just gonna keep going and going?
Yeah, and if I don't see anything in 1,000 feet, I'm gonna pull up and then kind of perceive what's going on above me, seeing the situation, because I don't expect anything super bad happening above me, because we're falling. What's the worst that can happen?
Don't
So,
say that.
so you continue to descend, and you kind of burst through clouds. There's another bank of clouds. You cut through that, and you almost hit a humongous rockery. Roll a
Oh, no.
dexterity saving throw.
Oh snap.
Okay.
Whew.
Damn.
Describe to
Not
me
today.
as how you avoid flying straight into this almost like a rock face that's kind of angled down, cutting through the clouds.
So as I'm flying down, bursting through these clouds, I have Theodore, my Fey spider, latched onto my chest, trying not to blow away. And I'm like, because the wind's blowing in my eyes, I can't really see. So he crawls up onto my face and acts kind of like a windshield. So the wind breaks off of his Fey body, and I see this rock at the last second, and I basically like Quidditch barrel roll in midair and just
Sweet.
spin past it and just keep going.
It's amazing, awesome. So yeah, you swerve and clear this giant, huge piece of debris, and then I'm gonna also need you to roll a perception check, and also a stealth check.
Oh no. Alright, well, here's the perception. Here's the stealth.
Let's see, I need a volunteer.
I'll go.
Distribute.
Roll a d20. Both of you can roll a d20 because there's 2 of them.
Oh no. Wanna see how many birds see me?
Yep. 2 more of these giant birds. These are almost like the size of a wyvern, but they look almost more like a pelican. They've got huge gullets. Kind of everything's crystallized for them, almost like the bird has either something growing on it, like barnacles, but they're crystals. And they both turn their heads over and kind of look at you as you swivel past on your broom, and they both launch off of the rock and begin to chase.
Of course they do.
Okay. Up here, Theron and Isabella, Theron and Elizabeth, you both are flying still, and you see this other bird flying in the distance down towards the descending allies.
Can I take out a shirt, my common clothes shirt, and try to use it to make a quick little makeshift parachute to help us slow down?
Okay. Yep. You can slow your fall slightly with that. You want to roll a quick sleight of hand check to see how effective it is?
Yep.
Yep. It's very, very effective. So
Wow.
So you whip out these extra pieces of fabric and just kind of hold it up, and it begins to slow you. And Elizabeth, if you want to try to carry him or move him over to a safe area or rock, you can have advantage on an athletics check.
Alright, Elizabeth will try to move him to the nearest safe rock, and better that than he fall down to something.
Okay.
You said athletics with advantage?
Yes. Okay, that will be successful. So you're able to kind of clear the air as you're flying him over. And these ones are just like in the picture behind the background. There's a single guy on this tiny little floating rock. That's what you can get him to. So we'll say this is now Theron. And you can land there as well if you want to, but it's just a little perch, and it actually starts to fall very gradually with the additional weight. Whatever magic that defies gravity that is doing this, it is sensitive to the weight. So even though it's only 100 pounds or so, it does begin to slowly start to sink. Not anywhere near a rate that's the same as everybody else, though. Is that the only thing you'd like to do?
Elizabeth has an idea.
Okay.
I want to try and ask Theron to help me make this rock fall faster while I push it in a horizontal fashion for everyone else falling to land on.
Okay. You want to try to beat them to it and get it to fall faster?
Yeah.
Okay. If you both want to try it, you can both or have one person roll an athletics with advantage, or you can roll your own individual ones. Elizabeth,
I say Theron does it because you have to have a better athletics than me.
I have a -1.
Then I guess it's me.
Tell you what, because you're helping, and then also because you have wings to try to help push yourself down, like force it down, I will let you have advantage. I guess you'd have it anyways. So, yeah, go ahead. Another athletics check.
Very thankful I did not bring my Warforged Paladin to this point.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, so you get to begin to sink, and as it begins to fall, it seems to go faster a little bit more, like building momentum slowly but surely. Everybody else is out of sight at this point, having passed through banks of clouds, but you're beginning to get this rock to move pretty good. Meanwhile,
Sorry, could I?
Sorry, go ahead.
So I was gonna say, as it's falling, can I take my bow out as a ready action?
Yeah, you
With
can,
the rope just aimed downwards.
for sure. Yeah, you can roll perception check as well. Okay, you can see this crystal pelican diving down towards them as well. It looks like it's gonna get there in maybe 10 or 20 seconds. It's on an interception course, but you would see that if you're kind of looking down and prepping your bow. And that brings us to, let's do Elvish, Presley, and Leonardo first. Elvish, are you wanting to try to grab that tent again?
Yes.
Okay, we'll go ahead and roll your sleight of hand, and then you can also roll perception.
23.
Okay, yeah, you catch it. Immediately it kind of stops billowing and catches, and you feel yourself being jerked up. Well, at least that's the sensation. Essentially, you just stopped your fall and turned it into what would be a feather fall. And so you begin to kind of float gingerly down, holding onto the tent with each hand. And then you see the pelican dive bombing down through the clouds and intercepting Fernando and Isabella.
Can I ask Leonardo if these are friend or foe?
You can. He would look over, and then you roll another perception check for him if you could. Just use your own stats. That's fine. Okay. He's looking, but it's behind him basically because you've got an advantage of looking in that direction. He's holding onto the tent with each hand, and he tries to look over his shoulder, but he doesn't see any. He says in Draconic, "What is it?"
Crystal pelican.
Oh no! No, this is bad. And Fernando and Isabella, as Elvish and Leonardo are kind of like bursting past you because they're now floating and you are falling, you just hear him say, "Oh no, this is bad," in Draconic.
And like, stay away from the pelican.
Okay, what do you both do, Isabella and Fernando?
Can I do an insight on the pelican? Because it sounds like it might not be a friendly source.
Yep, you can definitely look to try to see. It's flying towards you.
No.
No, your princess hair is fluttering, and as you turn your head, the ponytail or open braid, whatever it is, flaps in your face.
I did hear him though, so I have a feeling that the pelican may not be a good thing.
Yeah, I said it in comment, and he said it in Draconic. So anyone that's near us as we're going up while y'all are going down can just yeah.
But still, pelican yeah, it's as big as a wyvern, huh? There's not a lot you can do about falling. The pelican will still fly. Pulls her dagger from her belt, even though she's not proficient in daggers. But in case she gets caught in this pelican's mouth, as a way to try to avoid going down its throat, because being caught in its bill would at least still be not falling. And she'll call out to the dragon again. It's like, "Great old one, dragon, master of this place, I know you are out here. Please help us."
Okay. Go ahead and roll another persuasion check. And actually, I will also have you roll percentile die as well.
And percentile die.
Oh, that's a D. Oh, that's 2d10. That's fine. So that's a 12. So it doesn't seem to be catching anything else. The two other pelicans that are below are already beginning to pursue Glennon. So I would like to know what Glennon is planning to do.
Can I see them?
You can definitely see them. Yes.
All right. As I'm flying, I'm going to kind of turn over my shoulder, look, and just go pew and fire a ray of frost at one of them.
Okay.
Because it will slow him down if it hits.
Okay.
And I'm still trying to. Obviously, I can't do. It would just be a. I don't think I could go to full 200 if I'm casting the spell. Because are they 60 feet away from me or are they further?
You curved around and they were kind of right there, so I'd say they're within 100.
Okay, cool. Well, this is a 60-foot range, so
Sure,
I
yeah.
will
No
shoot this ray of
penalty.
frost at one of them. Cool. 23 for 8 cold damage and reduction of 10 feet movement to their movement speed.
Yep. Does that hit
And I
both of them, or is it
keep
just
going.
one?
It's just a 1.
So the wing frosts over and it begins to just kind of spin out of control, and it makes a very interesting bird, almost like a caw, like a crow, but it's very otherworldly, for lack of a better way to describe it. And it begins to fall down through the sky. The other one banks for a little bit, like it's about to go after, and then it begins to chase after you again.
Okay, I'll try and curve my. So as I'm continuously going down, I'm going to start curving back up, but not like a directly up. I'm going to try and curve down and off to the right and slowly bank my way up as far away from the birds as I can, so I can try and kind of curve my way back up to my friends while trying to see if I can see any land beneath us at any point.
Okay, so the current status is Theron and Elizabeth. You are floating this rock downwards. You're a bit a ways. It's going to take you a little bit more time to get enough momentum to start to get caught up. The Pelican goes past Elvish and Leonardo, going after Fernando and Isabella. Elvish and Leonardo, you are actively just floating, so you're going to end up seeing Theron and Elizabeth in a moment. And then Glennon, you're flying up.
Yeah, I'm starting to. I'm probably going to go another 100 feet down, see if I can see anything from that point. And if I can't see anything, I've gone multiple hundreds of feet at this point.
Yeah, thousands
I'm
almost.
I'm gonna start curving my way to come back up, because if I haven't seen anything at this point, it seems like it's just gonna go forever, and I ain't got that kind of time. Especially if I'm being chased by 2 things, and I know there's a dragon somewhere. I don't want to be by myself, so yeah, I'm gonna fly back up.
Okay, yeah, and with your perception, you can see that the chunks of rock that are floating down here, past like the next kind of embankment of clouds, you can see they're starting to get bigger, much more closer to what you might expect as like mountains, except they're still floating.
Okay.
So, without anything else, kind of really triggering or anything, the Pelican is almost up to Fernando and Isabella, unless anything else is happening. No attacks or anything?
No, is there any land nearby that an arrow could be shot at?
There's the rocks nearby, but they're all small, kind of like what Theron and Elizabeth are on. If you wanted to try to shoot one that was within range, I would impose disadvantage, but you could try to latch an arrow onto one if you wanted.
Do I have rope though?
Elvish has rope. A
I
lot
have
of
rope.
Rope is not on, unless it's in an entertainer. I don't know what kind of diplomat's kit.
Doesn't every pack come with 50 feet of some kind of rope or other?
Not everyone. I think the diplomatic pack is the one that
you have.
comes with this class, and I don't think that has rope to it.
Okay. Well, as you are kind of trying to search through your belongings, this Pelican is diving into you guys, and he is going to make an attack. He will make it on Isabella, since you're the one who made the loud noise twice. What is your defense? I guess it doesn't matter.
Defense is 15.
So it squawks past you with a big open bill that you would fit into because of how big it is. But it dives down underneath you and kind of banks back up and flies up a little bit. But it misses you. And at that point, Theron and Elizabeth, you're floating down. You can see Elvish Presley and Leonardo floating with this tent. It's almost a comedic sight because the tent is inflated at this point. Almost like it's like built, but they're hanging on the edges.
Is there any way we can get our tiny island under them?
Yeah, if just roll another athletics check with advantage.
Okay. Elizabeth is going to move to the edge of the island and start to fly push.
Okay.
Oh god. Don't fail me now, Elizabeth.
Yep, that's enough. Double 15s, you get the rock down, you kind of pass underneath them, and you are now positioned to where Elvish and Leonardo can just kind of land onto it. And it's now fairly crowded in the tents. Do you let it go, or do you want to try to bring it back in?
I not to let it go.
What was that?
Okay. I kind of want us to like fold it up in our arms, but not let it go, so that we can catch up to Isabella, and them to hop onto the crowded rock. But then for me and Leonardo to undo the umbrella, the tent again, and slow the rock in our falls.
Okay.
And if someone can start using the rope to attach us to the rocks.
Okay.
So that happens.
Sure. So roll a sleight of hand check, and you can also roll with advantage because your buddy is helping you. Okay. Yeah, you don't even need the other roll because that's the crit. You're able to bundle it back up, and Leonardo even starts to almost OCD start to fold it into a proper satchel. Fernando and Isabella.
Oh, I have no rope. I mean, technically, you have a tent on the character sheet, but the tent would be if she wouldn't have taken the tent into a dungeon.
Yeah.
I mean, if she was going out on the road, that would mean she would have put on her horse, but.
Would Garrett have carried it in like his pack?
Yeah, you have a human mule there.
She probably could have if she would have, but I cannot see her thinking of taking that to a dungeon.
Like she doesn't expect to camp there.
Yeah, if she would have taken it out with her on her horse, if she was leaving the palace to go on an adventure. If she's going through a portal into the horse is in the stables, the tent is probably on her riding saddle, and I can't see her.
Okay. The pelican looks like it's swooping back around to try to attack you.
So tell Fernando, it's like if things get too things get too bad, I might want to actually let the pelican catch us, and then just to try to avoid going down letting it swallow us. But for now, she's going to just try to still call out to the Great Old One.
Okay.
That was supposed to be like for percent. I mean, I don't know if I'm supposed to be rolling persuasion again or not, but and then
you can. I'm just gonna, I guess, tell you the metrics is if you roll a crit, maybe you'll get it. But this is the pelican territory. So with that, Glennon, you're starting to make your way back up. The one pelican you froze over, it does not seem to be like visible anymore. It's sort of tumbled down into the clouds. Probably will right itself once the wing kind of unfreezes and stuff, but for now you only have one of these flying up towards you.
All right, well, I'm gonna shoot that one with a ray of frost.
Okay.
As I'm flying.
Yeah.
25 or 11.
It lets out one of these screeches and kind of like reverberates through the air, and then just kind of begins to sink and fall down and disappear. into the white clouds below. And then just up ahead, you can see Fernando and Isabella like free falling, almost to the point where they might pass you. And then this bird kind of swoops back up, and this time he's going to try to gulp Fernando. What is his defense?
16.
Okay. So does he have a shield or?
No, it looks like the only equipment listed for the Guardian is breastplate and longsword.
Okay, so he just kind of like flails his arms and kind of wards off the bird, and it kind of flaps until it floats above. Technically, you guys would get an attack of opportunity as it kind of passes up, but I don't think you have your weapons drawn, so.
I have the dagger out, but unless
that's
I can,
right.
can she use it to try to get on top of the bird somehow?
Sure, you can try that. You want to roll, I guess that'd be an acrobatics check to try to, like, while free falling, kind of maneuver yourself to kind of grab its wing and climb aboard.
So that's a straight depth check, so +2.
Okay. So I would say you're not climbing it, but you're able to catch onto its wing and kind of grab hold. So you are now clinging to it, and that causes its flight pattern to get messed up, and it begins to spin around into a spiral of fallingness.
Well, she's gonna still try to hold on to it, and hopefully she can get onto its back or something like that.
Okay. Glendon, you see Fernando falling. He's the only one left following, and he's about level with you.
How heavy is Fernando?
He would be a full of human in a breastplate. I don't think he would be. He's not my Warforged, but he would be he would be a small human.
Is he more than 203 pounds, I think? How much? Yeah, is he 204 total pounds? I'm assuming probably.
That would be pretty heavy for a human by itself. How much is his breastplate?
I mean, I weigh 207 pounds without wearing any armor, so I assume for a fully grown adult male for Fernando, he's probably like 250. Okay. Well, I can't carry him on my broom. Could I no, I couldn't slow him down. If I froze him, he would probably sink faster.
Since there's now 4 people on this floating rock, would 4 people make it fall fast enough to catch up to Fernando?
It is falling faster. You do notice that for sure.
Or within 50 feet.
Alright, could I try, because I have rope.
Breastplate.
Could I lower him rope, and yes, it would make me not be able to fly up. It would pull me down slower, but could I use the resistance of me trying to fly this broom and the gravity pulling him down to slow him enough to get him over
basically
to the island?
a pulley system to try to.
Yeah.
Yes,
I mean, we're
can.
still going to go down, but it's going to be hopefully much slower and enough that the island could catch up, and I could just drop him over there.
Okay. Do you want to just fly down over to him and hand him a rope?
Yeah, I'll fly over to him. I'll hand him some rope. Fly this around your waist, and then I'll tie it off around my broom as I'm like flying level with him while this is happening, so there's no tautness on it. And then I'll slowly like separate so that there's no snag either way, so my broom doesn't break, and so we don't break his ribs. And then just like slowly try and resist him falling down as much as I possibly can.
Okay.
He would say, "Thank you, but if it comes down to between me and Isabella, save the princess first."
I mean, if it comes worse to worse, I'll just cast a spell on you. I just don't want to waste magic.
Understandable.
That's all. I have Featherfall. I just don't want to burn the spell slot. That's all. So yeah, that's what I want to try and do though.
Okay, yeah, so you accomplish that. You get him tied off essentially, and can start to slow his fall. Elvish,
Okay.
Theron, and Elizabeth on the rock. It's beginning to sink very quickly, and you're almost level with Isabella and the bird.
Can Elvish offer an idea?
Sure.
Since Isabella's the only one that's kind of not being taken care of right now, can he offer Theron it with the arrow and the string to shoot the bird that she's hanging on to?
I'll shoot it.
Okay.
And if Isabel can help tie Elvish and Leonardo to the rock. So whenever we actually open up the umbrella, once everything's on it, that we're not going to fall, and it'll help the rock support everything instead of the other way around.
Sure, you can definitely tell your allies that.
I have a feeling I should use Inspirational Call before we went into the dungeon, but oh well.
So Theron, do you want to take the shot?
Just to add +1 to it, I can figure out how to do that. So 19.
There you go. Yeah, it definitely hits square in the back between the wings, shoulder blades. But yeah, you hit if you want to roll damage.
Okay.
And this has the arrow tied. Oh, there's a rope attached
Yeah.
as well. There might be a different button for the damage, maybe.
If you want,
Click on the name of the weapon. Just click on Dragon Longbow for damage.
if you're trying to do it like in Roll20 or D&D and Beyond, you could probably incorporate it as a +1 weapon. Just no, it doesn't bypass damage reduction.
Okay. So that would be a total of 7 damage. So 2 + 1 + 4. So the bird squeaks and howls, and it's already got Isabella clinging to the wing, and it just begins to fall down directly. And then Glennon and Fernando are slightly underneath. So do you want to just make a quick dexterity save to fly your broom out from underneath?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you swerve out of the way. The rope is not quite taut, but the bird is following. Isabella, what are you doing?
He's trying to get safely onto the back of the bird, like maybe using the arrow that's in it as a handle almost.
Okay.
If he can climb.
Yeah, acrobatics with advantage.
Great.
You grab onto a good spot, but the feather pulls out, and it just creates a kind of little bare patch, and then the bird tumbles and spins, and you hang on for dear life as you do not successfully climb aboard it.
You have more handling as a skill, but first I've got to get someplace safe on the bird.
You're still attached to the bird. That's, I guess, the good news. Elizabeth, are you doing anything?
Elizabeth. So Theron shot the bird.
Yes, there's now a rope attached, which I imagine Theron is holding the other end.
Yep.
Okay. Elizabeth would ask Elvish and Leonardo to help Theron hold the rope.
Well, we're pretty busy trying, like, as soon as everyone gets onto it, we're prepared with the parachute to slow down everyone's fall once everyone's on it or hanging on it.
Correction then. Elizabeth would tell Elvish and Leonardo to keep an eye on things. Does Isabella see that there's a rope that she could maybe scale to get to us?
I believe the rope's still attached.
Yeah.
I'm asking if you can see it.
I mean, I would imagine with a passive perception, you can easily see that there's the rope tied to the bird as it's spinning and falling. It's kind of getting wound up on the wing and the legs.
How far away from Isabella are we?
You're probably like 70 feet if it's fallen that far, which means there's only like another 30 feet before the rope goes like tight.
But the average rope is only 50 feet long. Did we tie 2 ropes together?
Is this the one that you got from Neria, or is this the standard one?
I think it was the standard.
If it's a standard one, then I'll need you to roll that'll be an athletics check, because the rope is going to go tight from when the bird gets maxed out, and then either it might detach or pull out of your hands.
Elizabeth will help. She's been doing a lot of heavy lifting. She thinks she can help out with this.
Okay, so advantage.
It was nice knowing you guys, though. If it's cool, Theron's not letting go of this rope. He'll go with it if he has to.
Yeah.
I guess you're
That's
doing the
what's
heavy
running.
lifting now.
So Elizabeth, it jerks and you let go all in kind of shock and kind of instinct, but Theron, you get dragged, almost like launched off of your feet, and then you get dragged across until the very edge, which you'll just say kind of like the branches here, and you latch onto it, hold it tight, and this bird is actually pretty heavy, but the rope goes tight and that jerks it upwards a little bit, and Isabella needs to roll a dexterity saving throw, please.
Saving throw. Okay. Still only this.
Okay. That is not quite enough. You would lose your handhold and fly free of the bird.
Got it.
The bird is still caught in the thing, and you're able to hold it. If you want to roll a quick sleight of hand check to tie off the rope to the rock that you're floating on the branches, you can, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, so roll
Yeah,
sleight of
can I catch the rope as I fall off?
You can try to roll another dexterity save to try to catch it. The disadvantage is going to be it's above you almost, so you'd have to roll. Yeah, the 10, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You will have a second shot, however, because you're about to fall on or down towards Glennon again and Fernando. Unless Glennon, you want to do anything to try to.
She's small. You might be
How
able to-
close is this island that's falling down to us right now?
For you, probably like 100 feet.
All right. Damn. Well, I want to. Here's what I want to do. I want to move this way a little bit so that there's some rope that Isabella can try and catch as she's falling, so she doesn't land on me.
Okay.
And at the same time, to have this bird not attack anybody, but still hopefully be easier for them to. So the bird is tied off the island, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So instead of having it be able to fly back and attack them right away, I'm gonna hit it with a ray of frost to kind of effectively immobilize it, kind of for
Okay.
a quick minute.
Okay. Now it's restrained, so does that restrained property give you advantage on ranged or no? I think
maybe
I think if something's restrained, I think you do get
Its
advantage.
speed is 0. Attack rolls against it have advantage.
Yeah,
and it has
that's-
disadvantage on dex saves. Okay, cool. I
Yeah.
will roll a ray of frost at advantage against it then. For 23 for
Yep.
8.
That hits.
Kind of freeze its wings a little bit.
I believe that was 7 Theron did to it, so it is still up. But yeah, it hits it, and then just kind of like the other wing that Isabella had been clinging to kind of freezes over, and it's now tied on one wing and can't move its other, and it just kind of free fall drops down. And there's a big jolt to the island. I won't make people roll saves for it because it's kind of tied off well enough. But everyone kind of feels the jolt and almost like falls a little bit, but you're able to get back up. Fernando is tied to Glennon's thing, and Isabella, you are falling down. You'll have another dexterity save if you want to catch the rope with advantage, because Glennon is maneuvering it to be easy for you to take.
I think a 19 catches the rope.
Did you roll again, or? Oh yeah, you did. Okay, yeah, 19 does catch the rope. So you grab it, and you can either choose to kind of slide down to the end with Fernando, or you're just kind of in the middle of this 25 feet between Glennon and Fernando.
If I use blink, since that's part of the broom, what happens with them who are attached to me?
Can you post the blink spell in the chat?
Yeah, because it basically pops me in and out of the ethereal plane. Let me find it here. Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. I'm gonna have to actually find the blink spell because it's not. I don't have a link in there. Let me find it.
Okay.
Bam. There you go.
You vanish from the plane.
But they would stay.
What does it
So
say anything about your gear?
Well,
I don't even think that. Well, that would be your broom as well.
Yeah, because it would be cast through the broom, so it would be me and the broom that would go. But I'm wondering if things tied to me would also disappear into the ethereal plane.
What is the rope
Come
tied
back.
to? You said it was tied to the rope?
The rope is tied to the broom, which is also tied to Fernando on the other end.
Okay. You could try it. You could roll an Arcana check. How about that?
Yeah.
If you're thinking
just
about
to
it for a
see.
second and like what would
Yeah.
happen. You're pretty sure that Fernando being tied to the rope, being tied to the broom would be connected, same as you sitting on the broom. Isabella, you're not sure. You figure the
Okay.
dungeon master might make you roll a percentile dice for that, but you're not sure. Actually, with
All right.
25, you are pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out if popping into the ethereal plane would slow their falls enough that if we popped back in, it would make us not be further down. I'll think about it. That was just an open thought and curiosity, so I'll think
Okay.
about that.
So as that's progressing, then the bird is restrained still, tied up. The rock begins to sink further. Glennon, you're preventing this from sinking as fast, so you are rising. Isabella, you're kind of holding on. Do you want to do anything else, or just kind of stay there?
Can I climb up to the boom?
Yep, you can try. That would just be an athletics check with pretty much your upper body strength
I
to
can't.
pull yourself along.
There's no way we would be going up right now. We would be going down. I can't fly. I can't go up with more than 400 pounds. So we'd be going down, just
Oh,
not
so
as fast.
so you're free falling or no?
We're not free falling. I would think that because of the resistance, like I can't necessarily fly up.
That's
but
what I'm
I can
factoring in. You're falling
Okay.
slower than they are.
Yeah.
They've got
Okay.
momentum with their big rock
That
and
makes
four
sense.
bodies.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like
I
the
thought you were saying we were like
80-pound
flying.
bird.
Okay. I thought you meant we were like flying. I was like, I don't think so. But yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. That makes sense.
falling slower.
That makes sense.
So
Can't is slow, but she's still gonna try if she can get up to the boom, and if push comes to shove, the boom could certainly fly with her and him on it.
cut Fernando off. Like, see ya.
Fernando!
Is his cloak red by any chance? So yeah, so you don't want to climb further up because it keeps jolting a little bit every time like it's angled a little different way, so you're not able to make any progress towards climbing up, but you're able to hang on towards just the middle.
If we don't kill the bird, if there's a small chance we might be able to control it and have another form of lift.
Okay. It would continue to descend slowly but surely. If you'd be about even, if you wanted to maneuver any of the people on the rope over to the island, you may do so.
Yes. Yes, I do.
So you kind of maneuver over, and Isabella would kind of have a first chance to jump off the rope onto the falling island if you want. I'm sure Elizabeth would probably extend a hand to help.
Yep, she would do that if she had the opportunity to.
Okay. And then a little bit after, Fernando would be able to disembark as well. Except you come up with the problem. There is not enough room on the island for a sixth person.
Since Elizabeth can fly, could she switch with Fernando?
Yep. I think she just went right back, but I'm fairly certain that would make sense and she would be willing to do so. So you may occupy that island, and then we have the two people flying, and that
I'll have Fernando untie himself so that yeah, he can untie himself, and I'll pull the rope back up, untie it, and put it back in my bag, so that we're not like
He would untie.
causing other problems.
He would untie if he could. If push came to shove, he could just cut the rope just at the and just lose like a foot or two. But he will untie if he can.
Okay,
Is
that's
it
fine.
be small enough to hop on your broom with you? And she's a tiny little princess.
Yeah, I mean, it can hold up to 400 pounds. I just won't fly at top speed. I'll fly at 25 feet instead of 30, instead of 50, which is fine. I mean, that needs to happen.
Because if that happens, so it could at least slow Leonardo, Elvish, Theron, and Fernando, I'm going to try, because Elvish and Leonardo are tied to the rock and tying the ends of my tents together. So whenever we choose to release it to go slower, have less weight on it as much as possible.
I mean, that can work.
Okay.
So she would on the boom.
I was gonna say, I think Theron is also very light as well, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, Theron's light too. Yeah,
So,
'cause I was carrying him earlier.
yeah. Let's see. Shane, do you want to roll me a d20 for the bird? He's trying to get out of the tied ropes.
While he's doing that, can I scream at it?
Yeah, what do you want to say?
Like intimidation?
Roll an
I guess.
intimidation check.
This bird would say, "Take me down to the bird."
16.
Yeah.
Do you want me to say what I would say, or just...
Yeah, go for it.
I guess I'll probably scream out and say, "You listen here, you piece of crap bird. You will stay there and like it, or else I will turn you to my next meal, use your feathers for my pillows, and I'm gonna have myself some fried pelican legs."
It kind of meets eyes with you, and it's got these almost jade-looking eyeballs, and it just opens its big beak with its big kind of pelican sack beak, and it goes, yeah, but then it stops squirming.
Cool.
Okay. Do you think now would be the time to release the parachute?
Yep, if you want to. Unless, Isabella, did you say you wanted to fly down to it?
She would ask me to down there. But I don't control the boom. But she would ask me, say, "Take me down to the bird. I might be able to control it."
I'm more worried about making sure our friends stay safe rather than controlling a bird, so we're gonna see how this plays out first. And I'm gonna float in level with this parachute situation.
Okay.
That's about to unfold. Watching as keenly as I can.
Hey, DM.
Yeah.
Do you think that Elizabeth could roll a nature to see if the bird speaks Orin?
You definitely can. You think with a 10, Elizabeth would be able to fairly assume that the bird is a beast. You could always try, and there's the off chance maybe it does, but you have never seen this type of bird before, but it definitely acts like a beast.
Elizabeth would, in Orin, yell, "Hey, Mr. Bird, can you hear me?"
Okay. Roll a persuasion check. It breaks its eye contact with Theron and looks over at you. However, it doesn't say anything, it just squawks.
At this point, Isabella is gonna use 12 and 60 feet. It's like, I'm not trying to think exactly what she'd say, but she's using Inspirational Call, which basically gives everyone a D4 bardic die.
I've used that before. Are you sure it's not for just one person?
Yeah. It's a lower dice, but if you Inspirational Call. Is this isn't a great Inspirational Presence. It's not great. That picture's not a great one. I need to pull it up someplace else.
I can't zoom in enough to read it on the one that I have.
Okay, yeah, it is. I have it right here. As an action, any ally within 60 feet of you that can see gains an inspiring call. That within the next minute, they may use this extra die on any attack roll, damage roll, ability check, or saving throw.
So yeah, it's like a bardic inspiration that is lesser die, but it's
But for everybody.
Single person.
Okay. So everybody note down you can use a 1d4 inspirational die.
No, it does not cap with bardic inspiration. So if someone has the better bardic inspiration from Elvis Presley, you wouldn't get there. You'd have her D6, but.
Okay. So Elvish and Leonardo kind of unfurl the tent parachute, and because I presume you used the Narian 100-foot rope that you got to kind of tie it down, it unfurls and immediately lifts a little bit, and it's still falling fairly quickly because it's got the additional weight of the bird, but you begin to descend a little bit slower through the clouds. And further down, you can see these looming mountain top of these giant floating glacier-like land masses, just kind of approaching quicker, and they're getting closer and closer. And this is kind of where we're in a holding pattern until you decide what you all would like to do.
Are we going to kill the bird, release the bird? I kind of want this weight off the rock.
All right. Well, I will just shoot fire bolts at this bird from a distance.
Okay. Yeah.
So I can. There's a 9. I'm gonna go ahead and add this D4.
Still
We really
restrained.
want to kill it. I mean,
I get advantage, so
Yeah.
we really want to
12
kill it.
plus 4, so 16.
Yep. It's
I
gonna
mean, it can fly. Right now, all we have is slow falling, except for the broom and Elizabeth.
As you're saying this, Glennon has fried it with 13 damage, unfortunately, and the bird just falls dead weight on the slack down the rope.
Can we pull it up and cut it off, or untie it and still keep the arrow, or their arrow?
I mean, if we want the rope, I can just go and cut. We can fly down there and cut it off. We both have daggers.
I mean, yeah, we can just go down there and get the arrow out of it, or the rope. If you
Yeah.
try to kill dead weight.
We'll fly down, cut the bird off, or take the arrow out of the bird, or cut it.
Yeah,
cut the
you'd
rope
have to
off of it,
untangle
whatever.
the bird as well.
We'll just cut the rope then.
Yeah, and it just falls down further. And then you feel the rock stop sinking as fast, and it's kind of much more softer.
There you go.
Okay, so they are slowly sinking, and we have control over, and the broom and Elizabeth have control where they can go, and we have to somehow get the island safely.
Yeah, you're in no danger at this point. It is still sinking a little bit, but you're not at the risk of impacting anything. You are now again kind of at a grounds where we just need to know what you're gonna do.
Is there any way that we could tie another like decent sized floating rock to like combine it, since it was kind of floating with 2 people? So if there's 2 rocks,
yeah, if you want to upgrade your floating rock, there's enough little ones that are still kind of scattered around that even Glennon and Isabella could fly over and tow one over if you wanted to like transport yourselves to a larger one that's not like sinking from the momentum. That's completely doable, and you wouldn't have to roll for that. It would just you do it.
Sure. I mean, if that's what you want, I will happily oblige.
So we have like a slightly floaty ship kind of thing for these 4 people that can't fly.
Yeah.
Get like 4 floaty rocks and put them together, 4 or 5 floaty rocks and push them together, and then put a big rope around them, like a raft.
You could do it that way, or you could just take one big rock. I mean, there's different sized ones. If you wanted to get one that's more like big enough to hold all of you, you could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of is unstable in the sense like it'll wobble based off of the weight on the edges and stuff, but it doesn't actively start sinking, and you're able to upgrade to another rock.
Okay. So immediate danger
I'll still keep floating on my broom off of it just to kind of keep the weight as low as possible on it, because I don't need to be sitting on it. So.
Okay.
I'll get off the broom. There's a big rock, and so he has full movement of his broom.
Could I try to use locate object for the anchor since I touched it?
Yeah.
Held it?
Yeah, you've held it before. If you want to post the spell in the chat, or if you don't have it, I can pull it up. Oh, perfect. You sense the direction of the object's location as long as that is within 1,000 feet of you. It would not be within 1,000 feet of you, unfortunately.
So, because this spell lasts for 10 minutes, and I see her casting it, and I know divination since it is my school of magic,
Do you want to take Elvish for a ride?
I do.
Okay, that will work. The party watches as Glennon and Elvish kind of take off on this speeder bike-like broom.
I can show you the world.
You can have inspiration for that. That was awesome. But you sail through and kind of patrol around these bigger mountainous rocks. And as you get closer to the second one, you're kind of passing Elvish. You begin to feel a pulse of the magical energy, and you can tell that the object is located in one of those mountains of what looks to be rock and crystal.
Do we want to go in and grab it real quick, or do we want them to come with us?
I mean, I can drop you off there and I can fly back and tell Elizabeth and we can fly everybody down here if you want to do it that way, or we can fly in. But, I mean, neither one of us are necessarily hardy, and I think if we die, well, then we're in a really bad spot. So, you know, there's safety in numbers.
What happens if you take them to one of those zappy stones first, make sure that they're safe, and we grab the book and go since you're so quick?
How far away are we from the party right now?
Probably like a couple minutes flight. Several
So
thousand.
more than a.
Almost
Okay.
out.
Yeah, definitely. All right.
If you want to get closer to like where you can see the object is, or like pursue it further, because right now you're just getting a pulse that it's within 1,000 feet towards one of
Yeah,
those big
let's.
ones.
I'll just follow directions of whatever way Elvish has to go, and we'll see. Basically, do like a scouting mission to see what we can see that's near it.
So
'Cause
if
I
this
don't
is
want my
like
room to
what
get
the
blown up.
mountain is, you're getting the
Mhm.
ping from the underside here, and as you get closer to it, you can see it is a cave mouth going in.
Okay.
So logically, it didn't just fall and land there. It has been moved by another force.
So does that cave mouth flying close to it? Does it look big enough that I could drop Elvish off?
You have to fly up into it a little bit until there's actually ground
Okay.
there, because at first the ceiling sticks out far greater than the floor. But you can fly up to where the floor is, and kind of it's a very large mouth of probably about 30 feet wide, circular, and kind of
Okay.
starting to shrink in a little bit as the floor elevates into this upwards passageway.
So really, the only way that we're gonna get everyone in here is for Elizabeth and I to fly everybody in here, because there's no way we can turn a rock and make it go back upwards
If you
underneath
can-
this. No.
If you can get the rock that you're on to have kind of momentum, you could try it that way, maybe.
I don't think I have anything that can do that. I guess we could try pulling it, but that would be very hard. Well, I guess I'll just fly Elvish in there and drop her off in the cave mouth. And then fly back to the party, if that's cool.
Is that what
You
you
can
would like
look-
to do?
You can look for whatever's pinging and stay safe, and then I'll just start passing on messages and trying to get people over here via travel train.
Is that
Is that-
acceptable to the party? Is that the plan?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Okay.
So Elvish, you are dropped off in this kind of steep upwards climb area, or if Glennon wants to fly you a little bit further up, you can bypass the worst of the kind of hike. But there's crystal rock kind of jutting out from all directions. Most of it's greenish. A lot of it is kind of a clearer. And you begin to see kind of the wider mouth of a cave that looks fairly similar to this in structure, how there's filled with stalactites and stalagmites. Not so much the water. This is just, the results of a 2-minute Google search trying to find something adequate. So you find
Ooh.
you find a kind of a crystal tunnel going upwards into the rocks. As Glennon flies away, leaving you here, you will find yourself on your own. What would you like to do, or do you want to wait until your allies arrive?
I always find myself by myself. Oh my goodness. Um, can he? I don't know his spell. I think spell slot, but could he test invisibility and try to scout out a little bit further to see if he can get any visual on the book or the surroundings that things might be in here with him?
Yeah, absolutely. You can sense that with your look at object that the artifact is probably about 200 feet upwards into this kind of cave mouth area.
Could I start trying to walk my movement speed or however we're doing this? Are we in initiative?
No, I just want to kind of know what you're doing before everybody else starts arriving, if you're wanting to wait or proceed.
He's casting invisibility and walking forward. He wants to see if he can either find the book
Okay.
or try to get a heads up on something that might hurt everyone if they get here.
Sounds good. So back to the group. Glennon arrives back passengerless. I presume you update the party?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to just kind of ferry people over, basically?
Yeah. Let's do this. How do we want to do it? Because Fernando's definitely the heaviest, and I think Elizabeth, I think you and I will both have to carry him if that works for you, because I can't fly up with him on my broom because he's very heavy. Otherwise, I can carry everyone one by one, or we can both carry people. What works best for you?
I think what you said makes sense.
Okay. So I will grab Theron first, since I know Elizabeth and Fernando like to be close to each other. Hop him on top of my broom and take off.
Okay. So you'd like to drop Theron off at the cave mouth. Elvish is nowhere in sight. Elizabeth, are you flying over as well, or just hanging back?
I think I will hang back with the others. Better safe than not.
Okay. So Elvish, as one party member is kind of dropped off, you've ventured forth a little bit. Go ahead and roll a perception check, as well as a stealth check.
I don't want them to worry about me. Could I do have pen and paper and ink. Could I write a quick message saying that I went ahead?
Yeah, you can leave a note, which Theron will find shortly. So as you're moving further up into the cave mouth, you can see a couple of the stalactites move, and then with a quick look up, you can see that there's actual crystalline beings clinging to it, almost not like I guess kind of like a bat where they're hanging from it, but they're definitely not bats. They're almost like crystal mites. You're not sure what they are. There's little elementals or something like that made out of crystal. And then if you can roll a stealth, or you can automatically just pass the stealth check if you don't want to proceed.
I will stay put since I know that they're there, and I'm gonna wait for the group here so that they don't really know that they have.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So with that knowledge, Theron's dropped off, and Theron, you see the note. Elvish wrote down what he said about going ahead, but you don't see him anywhere.
I guess can I add to the note saying looked for Elvish?
Okay. Yeah, and you want to proceed?
Yeah, I guess I'll stealth ahead in the shadows.
Okay. You can also roll a perception check.
Where are you at?
Okay. You also hear it up in the distance, and you kind of crouch down, and as you kind of stealthily crawl forwards, you can see up ahead there are again a bunch of these little crystal mites, whatever they are, up on the ceiling, and that's probably where Elvish would like notify you, even though he's invisible. Glennon and Elizabeth, who are coming over next?
So I just realized I could do something pretty fun with my broom that I didn't know I could do, other than blink. So once I get back to the island where everybody is, I'm going to hop off of my broom, look at Fernando and Isabella, like, hey, both of you hop on my broom. Then combined weigh less than 400 pounds, and I can command word it to fly them to a place I've been within a mile.
Yep,
And
that
once it
works.
drops them off, I can command word the broom back to me, because I Leonardo and I can't communicate. So
Thinking that Fernando should go first to make sure the area is safe before see where Isabella went, but that's quite smart sending them together.
yep.
Okay.
So they'll go, and then once they've been dropped off, because it'll literally,
Just,
since I've been here twice now, I can just drop them there. They can hop off, and I can
mhm.
call it back to me. And then once the broom gets back, Elizabeth, can you ask Leonardo to hop on my broom with me so that we can all fly over to the cave?
Elizabeth will ask Leonardo to do that.
Leonardo will
Cool.
nod and awkwardly kind of climb aboard, not having seen one of these before, been on one of these before. But he, having seen how it works, he gets on like a motorcycle rider that's never ridden before. Very awkwardly
All
kind of
right.
grabs your waist to hang on.
All right, then I'll start flying on over.
Okay.
And I'll
And
follow behind.
okay, so you'd all arrive, and is Elvish still gone? I believe she is. So, assuming that they've communicated that you are aware that there's creatures up ahead. Elvish being invisible still. Theron, did you proceed at all with that knowledge, or did you just wait?
Question: these crystalline figures, do they look similar to the ones we fought previously?
They look like they're almost made out of the same type of material, but they don't look the same. No.
Can I attempt to head back? Like not forward, but backwards, just to warn the others.
Okay, yep, you can do so, and that will not require stealth. You get back to the others as they're kind of all dropping off, and then I will post kind of a picture of what they look like. Not exactly specifically like this is much more feline, but you can see kind of they're similar to this. And there's a whole bunch of them on the ceilings.
And
Oh, no.
so they're kind of animal-like, but not made of crystal, not humanoid-like.
Yeah, it's much more gemstone style.
Well, they most likely will speak, if anything, primordial. I don't know that language, but know enough to know that that's what they would probably speak. You had tongues spell from earlier.
That was Elvish, but if it's been more than an hour, it's worn off.
Yeah, so it's like, would you? Should we try to talk with them?
We don't know where Elvish is.
Wouldn't I have told you?
Oh, did you see Elvish?
Wait, you said that he pointed it out, right?
I think Elvish, are you back?
Yes.
Cool. So just a quick recap. Theron kind of came up, saw the crystal creatures as well, and I think you probably would have seen Theron at that point as well, especially if you didn't venture forth. Would you have identified yourself to Theron?
I do have message.
Okay.
So I could let him know that I am around this area and invisible.
Okay. Then
Wait,
Theron.
wait, wait. I can't cast magic, so I will not do that.
You can't cast magic?
Whenever you use the invisibility spell.
Oh,
Oh.
right.
Oh, okay. Well, do you just want to go tap him on the shoulder and tell him?
Oh, well then you can't do tongues anymore anyway, so yeah.
I
That's
would
fine.
I thought that it's been more than an hour since that like free
Yeah.
falling incident and trying to find the rock and
That
everything.
makes sense. Well, I guess
Oh.
tongues isn't even concentration. Look at that.
I mean, if we wanted to negotiate with them, or if you wish to, if you do not wish to avoid a fight, I could attempt to negotiate them if Elvis could cast tongues on me. Or we could try sneaking past them.
I would recommend sneaking. They look like the ones we fought before almost.
Yeah. Excuse me. I mean, I'm fine with sneaking.
So Theron, you can sense with. I guess you wouldn't have been able to if this cancels out your locate object as concentration. But before you cast invisibility, you would have been able to sense that's about 200 some feet up into this cave. Hello?
No.
Hello. Everybody's just not knowing what to say.
I mean, she would made a suggestion that we could either sneak past them or try to talk to them. You guys want to sneak, and it's not exactly her specialty, so she's not making the medium.
I mean, I don't have tongues prepared, so there's only one person that can cast it right now, and they're not with us. They're ahead. So
And plus, would y'all want me to hold dispel magic or cast tongues again? Because I have those third level spells with me.
That's true. We probably don't want to, and that's definitely necessary. We
all right, I say we go ahead and we follow Theron's lead and let's sneak.
Okay.
okay. So attempting to sneak.
Do you want stealth checks, or
Yes, anyone who's proceeding will need to roll a stealth check.
okay? There's mine.
Would I have to get advantage if I am
That's
Yes.
good.
invisible?
Yes.
Because I was going to do it anyway, Fernando would use his dice and make his
Those are all
24.
really good stealth checks.
No, he doesn't have a plate armor, does he?
He has a breastplate. Well,
Okay, so no disadvantage.
let's check. Breastplate, is that you
There's no disadvantage on breastplate.
you don't buy his equipment, it just tells you what the defender's equipment is.
What's his AC?
16.
He probably has a +2 dexterity.
Yeah.
So that means it's just something with an AC 14.
Yeah, so probably a breastplate, but there's no disadvantage on that.
Okay, so that's fine. So everybody basically passes. You're able to kind of sneak through. Leonardo is actually volunteering to stay in the back by the entrance, unless you want to have him come in. Only Elizabeth, I think, can really talk to him, and Isabella can hear him actually saying that he thinks he's going to stay back. But if anyone wants to try to convince him to go in, you can.
Do you feel safe staying here alone?
Yes. The pelicans shouldn't go this far down.
Very well. We will come back if we need your advice.
If anything goes wrong, run in the direction that is safest.
Well, I figure I can go in after you or down.
I would go after us, but that is just me.
Do you know what would be in these sections of rocks, or?
Down here is where the corrupted crystallines live. It's the emerald blight, the one that's affected all of the creatures back up at the temple. Down here, I do not know how bad it's gotten. I'm able to maintain the ones that are up there, the former sentient elementals. They are confined to the temple, and I'm able to keep them safe. But down here, I do not know how bad the sickness has gotten.
So they would probably be uninterested in talking.
I do not believe they're even capable of speech. Anything that lives down here is more animalistic, despite their elemental, their crystalline form. But I wish you luck. If you can find that artifact you've discussed, perhaps this will return our world back to normal.
And best of luck to you, my fellow Dragonborn.
What did she say? I'm sorry.
Best of luck to you, my fellow Dragonborn.
He looks a little confused but nods again, figuring it's probably not familiarity with the language. But yeah, you progress into the cavern. It's not very well lit. Does anyone have dark vision?
Elvish does.
Nope.
Okay.
I have dark vision.
No, but I have a lamp and some oil if needed light.
Okay. If you're trying to stealth, then that would impose disadvantage on your roll, and you have to roll again.
So no, not right now at least.
So are you just going to kind of follow along in the dark, or do you want to just kind of wait?
Follow along in the dark. Just follow the person in front of me.
Okay.
We can tie ropes to each other.
That's a good idea, yeah.
Okay. So you have a kind of a chain following along the rope with Elvish and Theron and Glennon in the lead.
I'll try and stay towards the middle because, squishy wizard. But yeah, then I got 50 feet of rope that can tie off whoever needs it. Or I mean, if it ties us all together, then we can also do that. But mainly for the dark visionless.
So you're able to progress up this kind of climb. It's a fairly steep walkway again, but you're able to kind of go up it with no problems. Keeping an eye up to the ceiling, you can see kind of movement of something kind of crawling across the stalagmites, but they seem to be fairly inactive. There are many of these creatures, but you go unnoticed, kind of climbing quietly up into the cave. And from there's a bend in the cave, and actually I need to make a quick map change.
And then there's the biggest fighter of the group, but he's also a protector, so he would want to be in the back, and so he wouldn't be attacked from behind.
Okay, yeah, especially since you're one of the blind people, I think that would be probably a good idea. So 1 second, the map actually didn't load, so I need to re-import it. And again, all the maps in here are just like theater of the mind imagery, so I apologize.
Okay.
So in here you find kind of a subterranean creek with water kind of rippling through the cavern into this big open area. And up at the top, 3 of you see a creature that looks almost draconic a little bit, but it's definitely much of a longer body. Almost think of it like a Chinese dragon almost, but it's coiled up around one of the tops, and it is sleeping. It is about as big as a person, and there's it's opposite the cave, the waterfront. So you're actually probably bigger than this. You're probably about this size to scale based off the picture, and then there's this pond, and on the other side there's the. You could call it a dragon or a dragon snake, possibly.
A Chinese dragon type thing?
Something like that. What would you like to do?
Can I drop back to Elizabeth?
Sure, you want to kind of whisper back?
And ask her if she can ask Leonardo what it is?
Leonardo is with us.
Leonardo, what is that?
Sorry, he is actually in the back of the cave. I copied him on accident. If you want to go back and ask him, you're gonna have to sneak past the other mites again.
No, I think we'll just stay here.
You said before you left, this place was full of corrupted elemental. Best guess is this is just another elemental that's called a dragon form, perhaps a more powerful version though.
Does it look like it's blocking our way from anything, or it's just kind of like sleeping up there?
It looks like it's sleeping. If you like, you can roll perceptions if you do have dark vision. Otherwise, it's fairly dark to be able to see anything.
Would Elvish know like the book is underneath him or around this area?
Elvish would know that this is approximately 200 feet up from the cave entrance.
Ooh, so that's close.
Yeah, you never got within 30 feet to know its precise location, so this is about as best as you can get without recasting. But the creature is this cavern is almost looks like to be a dead end unless you want to go down into the subterranean river, which goes that way. But there is no your spell's no longer active because you have invisibility on.
Yeah.
So Theron. Glennon, you're kind of looking more at the creature. Theron, however, is peering around the entire cavern, and you can see that there are a couple of those crystalline mites up here. And then in the river, there is the body of one of those pelican things, half eaten. Not that big.
Ah!
It's like dead over here.
I love how you turned it over. Dead.
Can I warn everyone?
Yeah, you can definitely do so quietly, I presume. You probably have a passive stealth enough to be no issue.
Oh wait, no, can I just cast message?
Yeah, you can do that too. If you just individually just send it to each person.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll put the mites on there as well, actually. Oops, that's the wrong one.
Because I have locate object as well, but I didn't use it because obviously she used it earlier.
What is going on? You whisper. Can't see. We have obviously come to a stop.
Those are the mites you see. And if with the message you can tell everybody kind of where to look. Elizabeth, Isabella, and Fernando can't really see them, but you know generally they're up there somewhere.
If the book may be here, I think one of you should cast locate object and try to stealthily get it. If this breaks into a fight, I will light my lamp, and we can deal with our opponents.
Let's see. Elvish, you're still invisible, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can receive messages, I just can't cast message.
You can just respond to the message. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to just guess because I legitimately have no idea where you are because you went invisible after I flew away the first time. So I have no clue where you are. I'm just going to try and cast a message asking if you found the book.
No.
What do you want me to roll for
Say 1d6.
guessing the right direction?
Yep. Roll 1d6.
Okay. D6. 3.
Okay. You miss.
Okay. Bing. Nothing back.
Do you want to try again?
Sure, it's a cantrip. I can just keep trying. I'll just keep whispering.
Elvish, what were you gonna say?
Can I try with my invisibility and see if I can like see it? Since I know it's like approximately like 200 feet or so.
Okay. So make a perception check. If you're looking specifically for it, you don't have to drop your invisibility to do that unless you're wanting to cast another concentration spell.
Yeah, I'm not dropping that.
Yeah.
23.
Perception 23, specifically looking for it, especially being if Theron has drawn your attention to the pelican, you can see that the belly has been basically opened up and consumed for the most part, but that would probably be an option where it is, or maybe it's in the river, or maybe one of the creatures has it, but there's no like treasure boxes or anything in here. Those are really the only items of interest. So either the little dragon snake has it, there's the body, or there's the 4 mites on the ceiling, or there's the water, which you can't really see into because of the darkness.
While still invisible, check inside the body of the pelican real quick.
Okay, how do you want to cross the water? You just gonna swim through?
Yes.
Remember, water will still go around you while you're invisible.
Yes, water will still around me if I'm invisible, and it will still get disturbed on the surface. But if I happen to like drop underneath it and not move,
Okay.
if I don't move, it won't move, kind of thing. I'm seeing
Yeah,
because they're all.
it would require another stealth check, is basically the mechanic. So if you wanted to try to go through, you definitely can.
Please say that. What should I get? Do I still have adventure?
From being
No.
water, no, because it's audio. I would say audible. The water kind of splashing, it's not gonna help that.
Yeah.
For everybody else who's kind of just perched on the kind of the riverbed there, you hear the splash a little bit of Elvish going into the water, and then the snake dragon perks its head up and looks around, and everybody will need to roll another active stealth check.
Can I please not move?
Oh, that's the wrong one. I still have a +3 on stealth, so that's the same roll. If it rolled for me, yeah.
So 20,
still a +3.
16, 20, 13, just enough. And it looks like Fernando. Is that Fernando's 5?
That's 5, yep. And he doesn't have his bardic or his inspiring call thing to use anymore, so.
Yeah, so what does Fernando do that causes noise as he hears a splash? In the darkness, I might add.
Fernando probably draws his sword and maybe steps on a rock.
There's a shing, and then a little pebble trail.
So there's the sound of the sword drawing, and then maybe and then he thinks, "Oh, that was loud," and then accidentally steps on a.
There's a little cascade of rocks that kind of fall down to the riverbed and splash. Elvish, you hear this behind you. You've got an instant to decide what you want to do. You're like you're knee deep in the water. Do you want to go forwards or stay or go back?
I will. Okay, how far away am I from the group and into the water?
10 feet.
10 feet. And since the attention was averted because of the noise, can I try to go forward cautiously?
Yeah, you can try to cross it if you want. If you're wanting to dash and just kind of swim across it, really, that would be loud. Or do you want to just try to wade/swim through more quietly?
More quietly, yeah.
Okay, so you would be able to get about halfway. And then everybody will need to roll initiative.
All right, all right, all right.
Oh yeah.
Oh. Can you use inspiration for somebody else?
I don't believe so. Not unless it's a DM inspiration. I would say yes.
Yeah,
But Bardic,
it is
no.
the one you gave me earlier.
Yes,
Where I can show
I
you the
do.
world.
I do let people use those inspirations for
I
various
want
things.
to use, if I can, I want to give it to Elizabeth to hopefully not roll a nat 1 on initiative to give her a little bit better of a chance.
She does have the D4. I don't know if I can use it on initiative or not, though. Let me check that.
I think you can use it for initiative. That's an ability check, basically.
Any attack roll, damage roll, ability check, or saving throw.
So Elizabeth, you have inspiration and you can re-roll that if you want to.
Do you mind adding me to the turn order since I don't have a character to just click the initiative?
Oh, do you have the same one as Fernando?
Oh, yeah. Fernando goes on mine.
Okay, so I'll put Isabella as the 7 then and just keep you both on the same one. And then Elizabeth, you got 6 with the inspiration.
It's better than a nat 1 too.
You can roll that D4 as well if you want. Or you can save it for something else if you do.
Okay. Elvish, you will get to go first. As there's the splashing. What would you like to do?
With my movement?
Yeah, with your movement, you can get to the other side.
Okay. I would like to get to the other side where the pelican is.
Okay, yeah, you get up to the corpse of the pelican. It smells very fresh and kind of bloody/meaty, very, very raw.
Now I'm hungry. He'll try to look into the belly to see if if the pelican might have swallowed the book while it was falling, kind of like it did with us.
Okay, you want to roll an investigation check?
Yeah. We say 18.
There's a perception, so you can see it. We'll just go with that. Yes, inside kind of the torn rib cage and then into the stomach sac, you can see that there is that blackened book that's just got the shimmering black energy, not even digested, just kind of staying exactly the way it was before.
Can I take it and put it in my backpack?
With a bonus action, you can collect it, yes.
Okay. I have the book.
Okay. Theron.
You say the dragon has seen us, correct?
It's looking straight at you.
Can it see me because I passed a stealth check or not?
It's looking in your direction. It looks most likely it's looking at Fernando, who's got his sword out and standing in the open.
Would I be able to get sneak attack?
You would definitely think so, I would imagine.
I guess, can I shoot with my dragon longbow?
You may. Yep.
23 or 24.
That hits.
And then I'll do this and then add sneak attack damage. So 21.
Did you roll in the... Oh, there it is. Sorry, just took a moment. Yep, that hits for 21 points of damage as your dragon longbow snaps into it. Now, does your dragon longbow have any special properties, or is it just +1?
It's a masterwork, so I think it's just +1.
Okay,
Just
so
the plot has a greater range to it.
is it just made out of dragon bone or anything? No other dragon properties? Okay, yep. So you do 21 points of damage, and the arrow just thuds right into its neck. This very elongated snake-like creature, and it lets out a roar that reverberates through the cavern from that. And then it is going to dive almost like a snake into the water, splashes underneath the surface and bursts back out on the other side, and tries to claw Fernando with 2 separate claws.
Okay.
Can I also do cutting
Didn't-
action?
Near me and then walk away. And if so, can I use my reaction?
It jumped over you, so yes, I will say you can use your reaction for an attack of opportunity.
And since can I do Thunder Wave and break my invisibility?
Is that what action is that? Is that a spell?
That's a spell.
Can you use a spell for an attack reaction? Anyone know?
If you have the Warcaster feat, you can.
No.
So
Okay.
I think it has to be a melee weapon then.
Okay. Got
So I did it wrong or no?
Longsword?
I'm not seeing it. There it is.
Okay, there. 18 will hit, and that's one-handed, I presume, as you kind of, I guess, quick. Did you have it drawn, actually? I'm actually not sure if you would be able to attack with it as a reaction if it wasn't out.
And I will revert what I just said. I will. I'm just standing there with the book in my backpack.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm sorry. I don't think that would work otherwise. So I think it will jump over you clearly into the water and splash and then burst up, and then it does still attack. That's a 7 for first attack, 18 for second.
Second hit. Gonna go into his temporary HP. How much?
Oops, roll. That didn't work. That's 8 points of damage from the second claw as it just bats him.
You take out most of his temporary HP, but haven't hit his actual HP.
Okay. So I imagine he actually kind of like deflects the blade with his, or deflects the claw with his blade, and it kind of sparks fly as it rakes down the edge of the sword. But that's Glennon next.
Do these guys on the ceiling look like they're about to attack?
They look like they just woke up from the dragon shouting.
Okay. So, as I look up there, like I see this snake dragon fly, smash into the water and whatnot. I see these guys up here, and I don't really like being in this situation. So I'm going to, out of my pocket, pull a crystal vial that seems to be glowing with some phosphorescent material, and I'm going to start weaving some illusory symbols in the air and say some arcane words, and I'm going to cast Hypnotic Pattern at them, and they all need to make a wisdom save of 15, or they are charmed for a minute, or until I lose concentration on all 4 of these guys, if they're within 30 feet of, because the whole thing's 30 feet.
Yep. If that's a wisdom, then they have +0, so that's 4d20. I presume
So 2 of
pass.
them, 2 pass and 2 fail.
Okay. Okay. Your magic takes effect, and you can see 2 of these crystalline beings just kind of slink back against their perch.
Cool. And then I will try and move. So I'm like behind this rock for some kind of cover.
Okay. Do you want to be behind on their side or behind on his side?
Behind on.
Or just flat behind on where you're at now, kind of where they're both on your flanks?
Yeah, that. So like I can maybe move out the way.
Okay.
Wherever will give me the most cover from the most things is where I want to be.
Okay.
That's all.
Probably kind of just staying where you're at or on the left, because
That's
I think Theron and Isabella and Elizabeth and Fernando are all kind of on this side of the bank.
Okay. And as I move there, I will yell out, Don't attack those two, and point out the two that are slinking back
Okay.
with my pattern still in the air. And that's my
Isabella,
turn.
you hear the roar, the splash, the claw on the blade, and then Glennon saying, "Don't attack those two," and you have no visuals of any of this. Maybe a little bit of like shadowy figures in the darkness because your eyes have adjusted. But what would you like to do?
Isabella will take her lamp out, which she has probably had ready to light.
That's fair. Yep.
Ready to light when needed, and will light the lamp and then set it on a rock and move away from it. So
Okay.
it's still trying to hide,
Okay.
but so that other people can see.
So I guess we move you back kind of like over here as you kind of retreat up there.
And then she will activate her Inspiring Call again, granting everyone another D4. It doesn't stack if you already have it. And while activating Inspiring Call, it allows Fernando to make an attack.
Okay.
So he will swing at the dragon. 21.
That hits. Yep. We'll go ahead and roll damage.
14 damage.
Okay. Yeah, your blade cleaves a big gash in this worm's side, and kind of the crystal shatters and splinters under it, and it reveals big open wound, which begins to bleed profusely.
Before she goes trying to hide, when she's setting the lantern down, she'll yell, "Anyone have eyes on the book?" And then she will just attempt to stay out of combat.
Okay. Elvish, since you still do have your reaction, if you wanted to answer back, you could do so. Otherwise, it will go to Elizabeth.
So, Isabella put the torch down, and I can see the dragon, right?
Yep, it's about 10 feet away from you, clawing at Fernando, its back hind legs in the water.
Elizabeth would sigh and because I feel like Elizabeth would want to talk to the dragon, but remembering everything that Leonardo said, she's not sure it would work here.
I was muted that whole time.
Yeah, we didn't hear anything. I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry. I meant to say yes on my reaction. Just say, I shout out, "Yes, I have the book."
The invisible force from somewhere in the cave said I have the book. And Isabella will do a sigh of relief.
Okay. And then back to Elizabeth.
Elizabeth will look toward the dragon, mutter an apology because this quest has become more important than her love of her fellow draconic brethren. And she is going to, let's see. I forget what level I cast it at. I might as well go all the way with this. No, better safe than not. I'll just cast it right here. I will cast Guiding Bolt at the dragon in front of me.
Yep, that hits, and it begins to glow, I believe, with radiant light.
Yes, it does. Let me post the thing in chat. Hang on, sorry.
Yep, that definitely is quite the blow to it. And you can see the guiding bolt penetrate through the scales again, cracking this crystalline surface on its scales and puncture through, and he lets out another roar of pain as you do 18 more points of damage to him.
Elizabeth apologizes, and how close am I to the dragon? Am I like right next to it, or am I out of the sweat radius?
Yeah, you're about 10 feet away.
So I'm out of the sweat radius?
Yes.
I'm going to fly up on top of this rock.
Okay, yeah, you fly up. That's probably about 20 feet up, 25 feet, let's say. And as you kind of perch there with the light kind of illuminating the cavern, you begin to see some of this reflection in the eyes of these creatures as they kind of spring down from the ceiling. This one scampers all the way down and drops to the surface and begins to run towards Glennon, whereas this one just kind of jumps straight from his perch towards you directly. And then they will both try to make a claw attack on you both. So that's for Elizabeth. That's a natural 1. So it misses the rock top and just kind of hits the bottom and falls to the ground into the sand where right next to the water. The other one on Glennon is not able to make purchase either, and it just kind of claws at you with this crystal arm. The other two, I think for Hypnotic Pattern, they're just stuck. They can't do anything.
Yeah, they are considered incapacitated with a speed of 0 until someone else uses an action to wake it up or they take damage. So basically, they are useless for a minute unless I get knocked out of concentration or the other two things are fulfilled.
Yep. So that's all their turns. Elvish.
Okay, since he didn't take his reaction, he's still invisible. But he will disregard that, and he will move up to the dragon and kind of near this. Okay, I want to use Thunderwave, and it's going to be a cube. I do not want to hit Fernando.
Okay. So you could, with an action or a move action, you can get about halfway across the river. It's up to your waist, almost to the top of your chest, at the center where you're at. But you can get up there and still be able to do so. What is the Thunder Wave spell? If you can post it. If it's a radius, you said a cube of how big?
15.
15 feet. So you would be able to actually catch both of these guys in it. You just probably actually wouldn't want to move a little bit further back. Or is it sourced on you?
This is sourced on me.
Okay, then yeah, you'd get it in the middle and then you'd be able to reach both of those two creatures. They have to make a Dex or Constitution save.
Constitution save of 15.
There's
And
the dragon. And there's the other one. So they both fail. And that is 6 thunder.
Yeah. And with it being thunder damage, and are they crystal creatures like last time?
You are about to find out. So this one explodes, and you are outside of a 5-foot radius with it, so you're not adjacent to it. So this one just blows apart. The dragon, all of the kind of gemstones all along its spine, and it's a snaky type of a spine, so it's pretty long. All of them immediately shatter, and it like falls prone into the water a little bit and lets out another one of these shrieks. It is extremely wounded. So that is.
And with that, I'll become uninvisible. So basically, you hear like splashes of stuff in the water, and then boom, and then with the boom, he appears.
Yeah, and like all the water around you like launches waves in each direction, kind of settles and kind of splashes back up against you. And you are probably like 5 feet on the deep end as the water sloshes around you. You still have a bonus action if you wanted to dash or anything like that. You could.
What's my bonus action? Okay. I want to get. I'll stay. I'll stay.
Okay. So it is the dragon's turn. It is.
What about Theron?
Did I skip? I did skip Theron. I'm sorry. I already hit the initiative tracker before. Right. It's Theron's turn.
Sorry. Could I do 2 separate things? First, can I use my dragon longbow to try to hit the dragon where his scales are broken at?
And yes.
19.
That hits.
10.
How would you like to kill this?
It just goes straight through his spinal cord, and he bleeds out.
And most of him is in the water at this point, but he kind of like slinks back a little bit and kind of death quivers until this blood kind of oozes into the water, which is already dark, but it's turning the surrounding pool red.
Then can I use cunning action to attempt to hide?
Yes. Oh, you know what? I was thinking Elvish was a bard, so you don't have a bonus action, Nash, do you? It was Theron who's the bard. So yeah, you can use cunning action.
Yeah, I'll hide.
Okay.
Do you want me to roll stealth, or I just hide?
If you're using the cover and against the other thing, you can just kind of drop away, out of the way. This last one is right up next to Glennon. And I guess that would put it to Glennon's turn.
Alright. This dude, he's right up in my face, you said?
Yeah, well, he's tried to claw you. He's within 5 feet of you.
That's fine. I'm going to use Shocking Grasp and try and shock him in the face.
Okay.
For 11 lightning damage.
That will hit, and he will explode. And
Okay.
because when you attack him and that causes the damage to kill him, he does explode. So you need to roll a dexterity saving throw as crystalline shards go everywhere.
I'm going to use a portent dice and give myself a 17 plus my 3 save, so I have a 20.
That's fair. You take 1 point of damage.
Damn, that's fine. I'll take 1 point of damage.
Okay. And then that's just your attack. So you still have the rest of your turn.
Well, I have a bonus action and a movement. I don't really have anything else I need to do. I guess I'll just move over here. On this side of the rock, so if those things fall down, I'm on the other side of this rock.
Okay.
I mean, they can't fall down unless I get hit, but I'm over here just in case. And that's my turn.
Okay. Isabella. The dragon is dead.
That was quite impressive. Now Elvis has the book. Let's get out of here.
Okay. Would you like to move back and lead the retreat? Or do you want to reclaim your lamp, maybe, and then lead the retreat?
Yeah. She'll grab the lamp.
Okay. Yeah, so you have light now.
We'll hold on to it until we get. We're trying to see. She still leave it lit for now. But if we could try sneaking out of here, she will turn it off.
Okay. Elizabeth?
So are we all just retreating? Are we gonna ignore the big guys on the ceiling that are under concentration spell from Glennon?
Yeah, they have like 8 more rounds worth of focus, so like, what's that, 48 seconds of being incapacitated? So.
Well, I mean, I know that's 48 seconds, yeah, but what happens when the concentration falls?
My thoughts are we're gonna get chased.
Yeah, so wouldn't it be smarter to just try and knock them out now?
Yeah, I'd say focus on one at a time. That way, you can just kind of keep the other one incapacitated.
Alright, so Isabella wants to retreat, and that's cool, but we need to kill these things before anything, because I don't feel like being chased, even if I can fly. So, to make this easier, Elizabeth knows she can't hit hard, but the rest of you can. I mean, look at what you did with that dragon bone bow. Even if it is glaringly offensive towards all dragonborns everywhere.
True.
You all have bless. And she will move down here behind all of you, or at least in the middle,
2, 3.
and say, if anything goes wrong, don't worry, I heal. But we need to get rid of those things first. And I'll have my turn there.
Okay. Elvish, you're in the water.
is there any way that I could get up to 15 to those guys all at once?
Yep, you can get up to your party. You're not actually in a combat scenario right now, unless you wait until those things get away. So if you want to regroup and stuff, you can.
Could I get up onto the rock, and would that be around like 15 feet so I can like
Oh,
floaty?
if you're wanting to climb up, then you just roll an athletics check. Sorry.
Athletics check. 15?
But remember, if you do something that's a cube, it's above and below.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have y'all like back up into the cavern a little bit while I try to explodey them.
Okay. Yeah, you can cast that if you want. With a 15 athletics, you scamper up. There's handholds, and you're wet, but it's no big deal. You're used to climbing. Okay. They automatically fail and explode, ricocheting splinters of rock and crystal and stalagmites kind of all in all directions. It sounds like a bomb went off.
Cool.
Yep.
Can I gather a piece of crystal?
Sure.
Just out of curiosity, for her curiosity, she's not gonna. She wants to get the book and get out of here, but just the crystals exploding everywhere. She'd grab one.
Yeah, there's a chunk that you can grab. It's about the size of your palm.
Could Elvish grab an eye from the Emerald Dragon?
If you want to co-harvest that, you can roll a medicine check. You can go try to carve it out.
7.
You try to cut, and the scales are still pretty solid on the skull, and you're not able to kind of get this jade eye out.
Can Elizabeth help?
Yeah, if you want to come over and try to assist as well, you can roll a medicine check.
Well, I was gonna say, you're also blessed, so you also have a D4.
And
Or is
you
that
have,
just for attacks and saves?
and you have Bardic or the Inspiring Call dice too.
Oh, I never used that Inspiring Call.
So you can use 2d4.
If you get another D4, if you want to use Bless too. Bless and the Inspiring Call.
Huh? 9?
9 is not enough.
Crawling.
Your dagger is not the right tool for this. You decide you need almost like I don't even know what you would use, but it's not cutting through. A spoon.
Elizabeth walks over, very upset at the sight, and looks at Elvish and goes, "Don't worry, I helped."
Roll medicine. So you get your what do you use for your tools?
I use my talons because I've clawed wings off of draconic-like creatures before, well, the manticore. I've clawed wings off of creatures before with surgical precision, and eyeballs not hard.
Yep.
I just pluck it out, and I go, "Here."
You were successful.
And you can see that Elizabeth is looking away with her eyes shut tightly, just goes, "Take it."
Can I come to take a 2?
So the eye is made out of jade, and it's about the size of not a ping pong ball. I guess actually a ping pong ball would be about maybe a little bit bigger than that. Maybe a billiard ball size. So you have a jade eye from this crystal dragon snake.
The crystal I picked up jade too, or just green crystal?
What you picked up was green crystal.
I suppose the entire dungeon isn't collapsing. We could don't have to rush off.
That's not a chance. Let's keep moving.
I agree. Let's not chance it, and let's not desecrate wonderful draconic bodies anymore for eyeballs and such.
Sorry, can I use Stealth Hand to try to take a tooth from it?
Yeah, it would be another actual medicine check to try to dislodge it.
Oh my god.
Yep.
Bahamut, why?
Yeah, it hit its jaw on the rocks as when you shot it through the neck, and so all of the teeth are loose, and you're able to collect a handful of teeth. They're about the size of shark teeth, like if you ever had a shark tooth necklace.
Can Elizabeth say a prayer for this poor dragon and apologize to Bahamut for killing it? Or at least contributing to killing it?
Sure.
Bahamut, if you can hear me, hello.
Elizabeth, you can get an inspiration point, since I don't have anything for piety rules yet, but because of your honoring your deity, you'll get an inspiration, which you can carry over to your next game. Or if you use it in this game, yeah, that's fine too.
Thank you. That almost gets rid of the pain. Almost.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Elizabeth. I don't need any pieces of dragon snake for spells, so I won't be taking any more from its body. I will leave it there to lie in respect.
Without looking up, she's still praying. She goes, Bahamut bless you, Glennon.
Sorry, how many teeth would you say I took?
5.
Cool.
Handful. You'll notice the music is still playing. What would you like to do?
Right?
Well, it was playing. Now it's going to be on repeat.
Seemed like should we have the book? I guess it's I believe it just no, I shouldn't say it.
How long would you say that it has taken them to collect items and her offer up the prayer from this dragon?
Well, let's see. Plucking an eye, couples to 10 seconds. Picking, kind of collecting kind of the loose teeth, wiggling them around until they kind of come out, maybe another 20 seconds. So 30 seconds.
Okay. I was going to say if it was 10 minutes, I was going to ritually cast Comprehend Languages to potentially try and read this book later, since I didn't get the chance to last time we were here. Although I do have a bad habit of almost dying from reading books, so I'm wary.
Well,
Elvish is not letting anyone have the book this time.
I'm not going to throw it off the cliff this time.
Isabel would want to see it to make sure that we have it.
I show them the book, but then I put it back in my backpack.
okay. It is shrouded in darkness. It's as if someone had cast a darkness spell on the book. It's like just swirling blackness.
I made sure we got that book back. But it doesn't look like I want to exactly touch it.
How quick of a look are you giving them, Elvish?
Not to be rude or anything, just
A
showing
flash.
them. I'm just no. I'm showing them with time. I just am not releasing it because last time he did that, things went bad.
Sorry,
I'm not trying to grab it or anything. I'm just looking, and I'm assuming because I had physically seen the book before,
It's
I
the
can
same
just know
one.
if it's the same book. Okay,
It's the same one.
That's
yeah.
I have my hands to my sides and I just nod like, okay.
What about Isabel?
I'm not trying.
Or Isabella,
I'm
sorry.
not trying.
That's going to be so
Isabel.
confusing in future games.
Since she was specifically tasked by the Queen to bring this book back, part of her wants to grab it, but if he just opens it up and puts it back in the bag, and it says this glowing black energy, he would hesitate long enough that it would probably go back in the bag.
Okay.
But there is part of her that wants to grab it since she was specifically tasked to get it.
Okay. So, as you guys over here, the three of you are looking at the book. You are doing stuff with the dragon. Again, it's been, at this point, about 30, 45 seconds. Coming up on only a minute after this combat. What are you all wanting to do?
Now that we have the book again, what do we do with it this time?
I can dispel it,
My aunt wants it back.
but right now it's not acting up.
Before we dispel it, shouldn't we find a way back first?
Yes.
Agreed.
Also, I would like to try and read it before we return it.
I don't think I don't
Out
know.
of character, I think this is funny because Glennon, I worry about you with books. much as you read them, they do hurt you.
Yeah, they do. Last
Please
time I almost got
don't
obliterated.
get hurt. If you do, Elizabeth's right here. I haven't healed anybody yet. I will heal you. Don't worry, I heal.
I
My
don't know
brain
if
is
that would go
helpful and also it hurts.
that very much. I would have to. I don't think that is not happening.
I'll
Could
just
a
go ahead and
third-
say if I want to read this book, I will, and you can't technically stop me. So, just letting you know.
Commander pulled his sword.
That's fine. Hey,
Elizabeth is going to try to roll deception and go, look over there. It's a thing.
Elvis just starts walking with the bag.
You
I will
were
also start following Elvish.
you are in this dungeon. When we return, you will be entering Nerian country.
Actually, I don't have to do that. I have magic that can take me away from that, so okay. Unbeknownst to you, last session, I got a scroll of teleportation circle that can take us right back to the office where we got the job last time, which was not in the castle where we just were.
She would start following Elvis Presley.
Everyone follow Elvish.
Mhm.
So as you're beginning to leave, Theron, you would see that Elvish has the book, and he's kind of already in the lead, starting to move away. Are you wanting to attempt anything?
Could I attempt it?
You'd have to kind of skirt around the party and kind of get up next to him, and it would be fairly difficult.
He has the backpack in the front of his chest and holding it because they're arguing about taking it.
I
Wait,
just
is
wanna
there any
read it.
light source or not?
There's Isabella's lamp. And then Elizabeth, were you still trying to distract for anything, or is this kind of progression kind of...
When she realized everyone was walking away, she was like, there's no way he'd be dumb enough to fall for that, and she would just follow Elvish.
Okay. So yeah, so everyone's kind of congregating in disaccord, and you're beginning to kind of make your way down the steep path back through the cavern. Because you're all in a group, you can all roll another perception check.
Perception.
Okay, so Theron, you are probably like trying to look for an opening to where you can get close to the book, but then you hear more skittering coming from the cave ahead, and you look over and you can see that all of the creatures that you had snuck past are all one by one dropping down to the floor and beginning to kind of gallop towards the path leading up.
Is that because we weren't stealthing, or because the book they're woken up because of everything going on? Because if you were starting to sneak, you would have put out her light.
I do a mass message cast.
Yeah, if so a couple things, just because I know it's going to get kind of confuzzled here in a moment. Would Isabella been trying to turn off her light beforehand or no?
Probably if we were trying to get out carefully.
Okay, then you would have also disadvantage on the stealth check, so you wouldn't know about these things until you're notified. So Theron knows about them, and that's actually the only person from the rolls that I see up there. So Shane, are you casting message?
I'm doing like a mass message just to everyone really quick to tell them freeze. And then I'm telling them what it is.
Okay. You have about 3 rounds before these things get to you. They're running full speed down the cavern or up the cavern trail, so you can choose 3 people to tell that to.
I can
I'll
probably run if you notify me. I could probably run in the middle of them and do another thunder wave.
I can probably kill them all in one shot.
I'll tell Elvish,
All of them.
Glennon, and
Okay.
Fernando.
So Elvish, you hear in your mind first, and with that notification, you hear the skittering of the feet on the rocks coming up. And then Elvish. So then after that's Glennon. You can hear it too. These things are getting very close. And then who's the third person?
Fernando, just because he's like the tank person protecting Isabella.
Okay.
Since the first person notified, can I just like sprint into the middle of all of them and try to get as many monsters in my 15-foot square as possible before I do Thunderwave?
Yes, I'm gonna have everyone reroll initiative, and I'm gonna have Elvish and Glennon and Fernando get advantage on the initiative rolls. So I guess that would translate to Isabella getting advantage.
Would Theron too?
One. I'm probably gonna knock it
Yeah.
higher than 21. Oh, I got
Same as-
22. Look at that.
Theron also.
Oh, did I roll? Oh, yeah, initiative 14.
Okay, so I need to add Isabella, add Theron. Who else is missing? Elvish. Okay. So Glennon will get to go first. And Elvish, you started to run forwards already.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna move up by Elvish, and for as many that are in a 5-foot line, I see Elvish running, and I have a pretty good idea of what's about to happen. So I'm gonna rip this spell off real fast before I hurt anybody else. You see me just kind of start to put my hands together, and I start to coalesce some crackling electricity between my fingers, and I just blast a lightning bolt of Fey green energy for 31 damage right through all of them for a 100-foot line for a 15 deck save for all those guys.
So because of their close proximity, actually it doesn't matter that one saved, because as soon as you hit these, there's chain reaction of explosions of the crystals that envelops those two in the explosion as well, because they're within 5 feet. And a bunch of these just explode and shatter in all directions, and then the companions next to some of that causes them to fall down into the ground, and then they explode a second later. Theron?
Can I attempt to take a shot at this one here to give Elvish more room to hit him?
Sure.
I'm gonna use both Bardic Inspiration, the Bardic and the other Inspiration.
It's a natural one.
It is?
Yeah, because of 1 plus
I didn't
6.
see that.
So it would be wasting
Theron.
it.
Theron,
Yeah,
take my inspiration.
thank you. So we roll.
I like how I pass inspiration to you.
For a moment.
Also, that should be a 10, by the way. Just
So you have a 10 that's not going to be hit unless you want to use any other additional d4s that you may have.
Can I use both of them?
I think so, because those do stack Bless and Bardic.
Yeah.
So you can add another 2d4 if you want.
Can I do one at a time, or would I have to use them both?
Up to you.
No, I mean, like, can I do one if that's not enough, do another one?
I believe
Or,
so.
like, do I have to do both? Okay.
It just has to be before I tell you if it hits. So that would be a 13. So,
Yeah, that's good.
So 16. Yep, you hit. You don't need to roll damage on it because it explodes, unless you want to roll just for fun. And it would catch its ally in the chain reaction explosion as well. And Elvish is next.
I will move up and I think try and get all of them there within 15 feet, but kind of stay back a little bit.
Okay, I would say you'd probably be able to catch those 3. There'd still be 1 left.
Could I move just a little bit further? Get the other one? Or no?
So I know it's in Theater of the Mind, but you're almost at the point where you'd be taking a dash action. Can you still cast a spell with doing that?
If it takes up my action, no.
So then, yeah, so you'd be able to catch the first. We'll say the first 3.
Okay. I'm gonna cast this one at level 2 Thunder Wave. Oh, that's initiative? Can I finish? No, that's not what I meant to do. Sorry. Thunder Wave. Cast. There we go.
Okay, so that is 1 success. So these first 2 explode. The one in the back does not. It's able to kind of redirect itself and jumps up onto one of the lower stalactites.
Mhm.
And then that is Elizabeth's turn.
How close am I to these guys?
You are about 60 feet, probably like 50 feet maybe. I guess you're actually
Okay.
closer up there, so yeah.
Alright, so I think I will hit the one to the right of Elvis. I think I'll hit this one.
Okay.
I need it to make me a dexterity save of 13 as I cast Sacred Flame.
Okay, hit. It explodes into a multitude of crystal shards, which kind of pepper the water with splashes all over. The one behind is going to make a dex save as well. That'd be a 4. He is caught in the explosion, and he explodes as well. And that brings us to Isabella.
And everything is gone at the moment. She would have been ready her bow and about to shoot the last one when it kind of gets caught in the explosion.
It seems to be kind of an empty path ahead, kind of mutilated the sand. There's like everything's disturbed and peppered with these explosions.
Elvis Presley has the book, and we're trying to get out of here. So she would move up as quick as much as she can towards him, and
So you get up to there, and then Glennon, this is a new round, I believe.
Yeah.
Did we not get this organized in initiative order? I think we did this out of order.
No, we did not.
Oops. That should have been like this. Oops, I'm sorry. Well, with it being a new round, the cavern is beginning to shake and reverberate because of all the explosions, and pieces of chunks of rock are beginning to fall from the ceiling.
Well, I am going to hop on my broom and scoot and caboot away this way.
So
Not flying super high, basically like 5 feet off the ground, so I'm just like a hover. Just...
you see Leonardo, the Dragonborn, kind of waiting there at the entrance, looking out at the exit. Actually, without the explosions, he'd be looking back up into the cavern nervously.
I could probably get to Leonardo, I would imagine.
Yeah, with your dash action, especially, you could.
Yeah, I'll just get over there. I'll wait at the entrance.
Okay, and then Theron.
Can I dash? How far would that get me?
Like
You
where
can move
is
3 times as a rogue.
So could I just do that?
I mean, we're not in combat. I'm not really a fan of that rule, but sure, you can get to the end. Elizabeth.
Elizabeth will take a dash action flying toward the entrance where Leonardo, Glennon, and Theron are at, but I don't know how far that would get me.
Sure, you can get to the end. And then Isabella and Fernando, and I presume Elvish, you all just want to get out to the edge?
Yeah.
Okay.
Elvish should put his backpack on his chest where the opening is at his neck because everyone was arguing about it.
So you have extra secure. So since you're all able to make your escape within 1 round, the cave begins to collapse behind you, but does not affect you at the cave mouth. There's just kind of greenish brown dust just kind of begins to pour out from the mouth as the cave and cavern collapses behind you. but we are out of combat. And you are standing there at the entrance. It drops off pretty dramatically down into more of the sky below you, and you have retrieved the book. How would you like to proceed?
I'm glad I cast Lightning Bolt.
Leonardo, how do we get out of here?
He doesn't.
We all fall.
Oh,
for
you
it.
do speak Draconic. He says,
Yeah.
if you go to our temple, we can go to the warp stone and I can send you back.
We got a big rock again. Kind of moving it or something.
Do you want to just kind of fast forward and go drag a big rock over and take it up and find the palace? Or the
How are we gonna get a rock to go up?
Put more of them together, more balance, more buoyancy.
Well, no, I get that, but how are we going to lift it up? You understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't, unless we have levitate, which wouldn't hold a rock and people, or fly, which I don't know if you can cast on a rock. How are we going to lift a rock up in the air? Because before we were just slowly falling.
It
We're
was
really far down, right?
do you want to just like passenger ferry people one by one into a new rock until you can leapfrog your way back up? That'd take most of the day, probably.
Would tying more rocks together make them float more, or just would it float the same level?
You
Same
can
level.
you can roll either an Arcana, or I prefer think in nature would make more sense, even though there's magic involved with it, since this is its own kind of like it's a shard of another material or another plane. You can roll a nature check and try to see if you can understand what is going on.
Nature is intelligent.
That might work.
Yeah, right. Oh, you're saying because I rolled low, I was thinking my.
I think she would find plausible.
Hey, Elvish.
yes.
I don't want to start a fight, but would you allow me to read this book? I don't even need to touch it. You could open it for me. I just would like to try and read it, if that's fine with you.
What did the queen tell me? About the book?
The queen would have told you that it was her journal and that she wanted you to bring it back to her. And that basically the only one of the bloodline would be able to read it, is what she would have described it as.
The queen said that is her journal, and I do not think it is appropriate for you to be reading her journal, if you even can.
I can read any language if I sit long enough.
I don't know if you can buy. I don't know if that's going to work or not, but you shouldn't be reading the queen's journal.
I'm gonna go ahead and take 11 minutes and ritually cast comprehend languages anyway.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna do that.
Are you doing this at the cave mouth, or are you wanting to find another floating rock to hang out with?
I'll just do it at the cave mouth. I'll just sit there and for the next 11 minutes, just cast it.
Okay.
Just ritually do comprehend languages, and it works for an hour. So.
Okay.
Can I speak to Elvish quick?
Everybody wants this book.
Not about the book.
After Glennon's done doing his thing about reading the book, then he will take the book and then go and talk with you.
And talk with who?
Theron?
Yeah.
Theron.
Okay, what do you want to talk about?
Just a suggestion. Do you think we should give the book to Elizabeth and then she will fly when we get to the main island? Because the last island we were at, whenever we took the book out, when we were standing on it, it had those black tentacles come out and like destroyed it. What if we give it to her and she flies above it so she's not touching it, so maybe it won't have a direct effect on the ground? But if we walk with it, it might have an effect.
If anybody's gonna get hurt by it, it's going to be me, just like last time. Okay?
I don't mean about
Can-
getting hurt though.
Can Elizabeth hear this?
Well, you're all at the cave mouth, so there's not much room.
Okay. Elizabeth will look over at Elvish and just glare, like squinting her eyes, adjusting her glasses, holding her mace cane and going, "Oh no. Oh no, 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 no.
You're the reason why I'm putting this on too. Don't start.
Oh no, 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 no. I am not listening to anything but give the book to someone who can handle it. I can heal."
Yeah, you're going to need to heal me.
You are so reckless.
If you go unconscious, you cannot heal anyone.
How did the book hurt you last time?
What was that?
How did the book hurt you last time?
We stood on the ground with the book Elvis did. The ground started to crack beneath his feet and turn black.
And then I gave it to you, and then we had to go back. So.
Because I passed it to Glennon and then Glennon dropped it. Which is what prompted this entire series of events.
So,
Okay.
so you dropping it is why the thing didn't work out the first time.
Okay. So I'm holding it. We can discuss this when we are at our home plane. So. Are we okay now? I do not want the healer to get hurt. That's a bad idea. If it turns to the ground thing again, I don't think Glennon would mind if I perch on his broom. I just do not, especially want the healer to get hurt.
Oh, you're riding Glennon's broom? Glennon, don't drop it this time. We'll be fine.
As I'm finishing up my ritual, I'm like, I only dropped it because you wanted me to save Leonardo. It's the Book of the Dragonborn. I think I made the better choice.
Yes, especially.
And I agree. But now we have the book and the Dragonborn. We have 2 Dragonborns, which is better than 1. But I'd rather none of us get hurt this time around.
Yes, exactly.
It's true, and you do have some of the best Dragonborn scales I have ever seen, Miss Elizabeth. Just
Flattery will get you nowhere, young man. But it is greatly appreciated.
Oh,
Wait, then when we get to the main island, can Elizabeth or Elvish just stay on Glennon's broom? Because if you remember last time, whenever we took the book off the island, it was still growing and cracking. So what if we never let her touch the ground, or let him touch the ground in the first place? Which means it shouldn't be able to spread.
It seems like it might be some wise. We first have to get everyone up there.
I don't know why it did that, since it was in a shelf for years.
Alright, well I guess we're gonna have to start this ferrying procedure then, and it's gonna take all day, so.
Yeah.
Alright.
Oh, wait, did you want to read it once you were done casting that 12 minutes?
Yeah, I mean if you're okay with that I would.
Yeah.
Do we wanna do it here, or do we wanna do it on another rock?
If you try handing it to him, he would say, "No, that is the Queen's personal journal."
I'm not handing it to him, I'm opening it up to see if he can even read the sentence.
Elvish. I tap my broom as I pull it back out, like to sit here.
Okay, I do.
I fly us off to a rock that I can see.
So, can you
Does
cast?
an 18 hit your AC?
Hmm?
Does an 18 hit your AC?
I mean, if you're casting a spell at me, Is that
What
what you're
are
doing?
you doing, Isabella?
I mean, I see this coming and I throw up a shield. So no, it won't hit me.
Is Isabella shooting an arrow at him?
Yeah.
I throw up a shield and it does not hit me.
The queen will hear this.
She will hear of all of this. We are going to tell her everything that happened.
Everything as he's falling away.
Well, when we get to another rock, I would like to try and read this book.
Can you cast your spell in the chat so I can see what it says?
Oh, yes, it is that. It lasts for an hour. I just have to be touching the actual pages of the book. Just no secret stuff. Like,
So if it's
The book, you can touch it, you can try to read it. The black shadows over the page still conceal the writing.
interesting. Huh.
I really kind of want to do the dispel thing, but I do not want everyone to get hurt.
I mean, do you have to touch something to dispel it?
Oh no.
How does dispel magic work? Do you have to physically touch it, or do you just have to see it?
It's
Yeah.
120 feet. 120 feet. I would say I would have you try this again on the other side when everyone is in their own plane. And
Okay. I mean, I'll have to re-ritually cast it, but that's fine because it only works for an hour, so that's fine. I can ritual cast as many times as I want a day.
Okay.
Okay. So you want
Okay.
to carry on with your plan of shuttling people, or
Yep,
do you want to use
I
that
will.
scroll, or what do you want to do?
I will. Well, I can't use that scroll. It's not interplanar, unfortunately. I will shuttle people one by one all the way up to the top.
Okay.
Except, I don't know if I'll be able to carry Fernando. Because if it's more than 400, if my total weight is more than 400 pounds, I can't, like, fly up, I would
Does-
think.
Does anyone have a bag of holding?
Breastplate is only 20 pounds. I don't know, what's the average weight of a human?
I think a 6'0" person is between 180 and 200 pounds.
Yeah.
Like I'm
So-
190, I think, and I'm 5'11".
Yeah, I mean, I'm 6'3" and I'm 215, so somewhere in the middle of there.
If the rock is floating, if we get one of these small rocks and it's floating and get pulling up on it, would it go up?
If you want to try that, if you put enough force on it from the bottom, pushing it up, it would float up a little bit, but it wouldn't keep going. It eventually would settle.
What happens if you get Lennon and Elizabeth both to help each other? Because isn't it just shy of a couple of pounds on your broom?
Yeah, I mean, because total right now, I'm at 197 pounds.
That you
Thereabouts.
To take off his armor if that would help.
I mean, in a pinch, you could always do the relay where you tell it what to do, and then it just leapfrog rock to rock to rock. It would just take the better part of the rest of the day to get up to a point where you can reach the palace. But if you want to just do that, that's going to conserve you from using any teleportation
true.
scroll up to the palace. If you wanted to do that, that'd be an option. But you could just take the long way and just leapfrog up.
Yeah, I will ferry everyone one by one. So I'll start with Elvish Presley, and then I'll go with Theron. Elizabeth can fly, so if you want help that, I can help you. Otherwise, then I'll ferry Leonardo, and then I will stay on the rock where I tried to read it from, and then I will fly Fernando up. And then I will, once I get my broom back, I will fly away for 15 minutes and leave Isabella in the cave entrance all by herself, just out of pure spite. And then I'll come back and get her. And then take her back to the top.
He'll stare daggers at you, but it's like you are clearly no prince or gentleman.
Can Elizabeth
Commoner.
can Elizabeth roll an insight to gauge Isabella's mood?
Yeah, I mean, is it obvious, Eric, or what do you think?
I mean, I'm doing this for a very specific reason, and I want to see it fail.
Yeah, go ahead, I guess, unless Eric, you have anything to the contrary to say. It's your character.
Well, I got nothing now.
So go ahead and roll insight.
Miss Isabella, if I may, are you feeling alright?
Oh no.
What do you mean? I am feeling fine.
Elizabeth will walk over and put her clawed, her taloned hands on your cheeks and go, "Well, you don't feel worn. Your eyes are not dilated. Miss Isabella, I do not know why Glennon made the choice to leave you by yourself for so long, but he is a smart wizard, so I believe he knows what he's talking about. If you show any symptoms of the plague, you let me know, and I will come heal you myself. I do not want you to catch the plague. I cannot lose another one. I just cannot. I cannot."
Your caring is appreciated, Nurse Elizabeth. But what Glennon has in brains, he lacks greatly in manners.
The point still stands. If any of you get the plague, and you will know when you have it, because you will not know if you have it, you let me know, and I will heal.
That's contradictory times 10.
So, over the course of the rest of the day, you are able to transport all the way up to the old palace area.
Is the wine still there in the middle of the floor?
Yes. But to everybody else who hasn't seen this room, it is very majestic, made out of crystals and. Hold on, I can't make your tokens bigger for some reason.
Dragon to give us all a light up.
What was it?
If we get close enough to where we see this dragon, can I ask the dragon and to give us all a light all up there?
You can try if you want to roll percentile dice to see if he's even around.
50.
He would not be with a 50.
Okay.
But you are able to kind of get all dropped off here, and kind of, if you wanted to explore around a little bit, you'd see that there's this giant entry, crystalline, emerald entryway. Essentially, there's the huge warp stone off to the side, and he looks over at you as you guys all are landing, kind of one by one, every like hour or so. And then there's giant double doors in the back, which seem to be sealed.
Leonardo, your home is beautiful.
You just nod in appreciative silence.
Are the levers and stuff from last time? They're not in this room, are they? Because they were in a different tower.
There are no levers in this one, no. I mean,
Alright.
there's his home is here, so there's probably another library over there somewhere. There is there's different rooms, studies, a kitchen, all kinds of different rooms you'd expect to find in basically a castle. However,
Are there any books that I could borrow?
Yeah, you can roll investigation check. Are you physically ferrying people over, or just commanding your broom?
I will physically carry the first couple of people, and then I will get on the island where I tried to read that book, and then I'll command it and then I'll just rest that time. Not like short rest, but I'll just basically hang out
Okay.
and just like practice some arcane stuff while my broom does its thing, and then obviously for the very last flight when I got Isabella, I will be on the broom.
Okay. So you roll an investigation check. And you'd find several different books, a lot of them talking about the home plane, the crystal plane, and how this used to be kind of fractures of this. It was fractured, and this is a portion of it, basically. And it was put into an alternate plane of existence and has been separated for hundreds of years.
Awesome sauce.
And then everybody pretty much has arrived. The warp stone is there if you wish to go back to Neria. The Dragonborn is not going to go with you. He's going to stay here.
You said there was doors that were another places to explore this place. Nothing's collapsing yet. Can we explore? Can she try to explore this beautiful palace?
Yeah, so the entire palace is open. You can be able to go see everything with the exception of the giant double doors in the very back. That is sealed. And
No, what is back here?
that goes into the chamber of the elementals. That's where I keep them and tend to them. But they are no longer sane. They all have the Emerald Blight, and I will not let you go in there, as I do not want you to kill them, and I don't want them to kill you. So it is best that they remain behind locked doors.
Elizabeth, they have the plague.
Oh no. Just say the word, Leonardo. I will fix everything.
No. He's messing with you. It's not the plague, it's the crystal stuff that we've been seeing all day.
Glennon, how dare you? And she will go to hit you with her mace cane for non-lethal damage, but you're probably going to shield, so I can't hit you anyway.
Now I'll let you hit me. I deserve that.
Oh my god.
It
Let me see if I can even hit you. Hang on.
is kind of like a plague, just a plague for
Oh!
creatures.
How dare you?
That was good.
Yeah, that's good.
My only crit for the whole game, and it's to hit Glennon in the head. She'll look at you and see how hard she hit you and go, "Don't worry, I heal."
Ow, that hurt.
I know. Maybe next time you'll think before you mess with the heart of a woman. I know I'm old, but I still have feelings.
That's definitely 12 points of damage.
Oh yeah, that should be my 3 more. Yeah. That
Somehow I don't think Glenn here understands women.
Elizabeth will just like rub your forehead where she hit you and just like peck it and go, "It's okay. Stop being so stupid. You're smart." And she will just like poke your forehead with her talon and go, "You should know better. Do better."
You're right. Can I look over at Isabella and kind of weave some symbols in there and have you do a wisdom save, please? Just because. I want to see if this will work.
So much infighting.
That doesn't work.
At least you're not. I mean, not like fully trying to kill each other, but like minor infighting.
Minor inconveniences the whole way through.
It's alright. You called me a man earlier. I never once said that's what I was there, Miss Isabella, so you should probably learn how to approach people respectfully before you start assuming people's identities, for one. But anyway, we should go home now. It's cool.
Well, it's Leonardo. I guess it is time to say goodbye.
Yes, I do not know if you will have a way to return here. Wait a moment. And he actually will go to the library, in which Glennon found that other book on the crystalline plane. And he will open up a chest that was kind of up on one of the bookshelves. And he pulls out, it would be a book, but he'd come back and bring the book with him, and he'd pass it to, I guess, Glennon, because you're the wizard, and you'd say, within here is the means to return back through the warp stone. It is only valid for 2 attempts, but it will give you the ability to come back here. I have been saving it for hopefully if we can get it back to the crystalline plane. However, we have not had any sign of interest in that since Yvona was here, and so perhaps linking with your plane might give us a way back. In the meantime, I shall be here, and I shall caretake the crystallines until we meet again, if that may be. And he will bow and kind of step aside for the warp stone to transport you
I
if
take
you
the
wish.
book and I bow and I look at Elizabeth. What did he say? He gave me this book, but I don't know what he was talking about.
It's a way to get back to this place, but it only has 2 uses.
No, cool.
And he
I put
spoke
the
of
book in my bag. I'll
trying
read
to,
it later.
trying to get back to his home plane and dealing with my aunt. And she would turn to the aunt and say, I promise you I will speak to my aunt about if she has any more information on that could help you.
He bows.
Elvish just goes up and bro hugs him.
He returns the embrace and gives you a smile and says, next time bring more wine. That is the best I've had in many ages.
Elvis, he likes the wine. Bring it next time you see him, if we see him again.
Nice. Okay.
Do you wish to transport back to Neria?
Yes, I do.
So the warp
Yeah.
stone holds out its enormous hands, palms upwards, for enough for you to kind of step onto it, and then slowly he closes his fists back onto you. And Glennon, as you get kind of transported back, you feel kind of a rush of wind as you're transported interplanar to the material plane and back to Neria. Whoever stepped on the other hand, the same thing happens to you, and one by one he transports you back.
And Elvish wants to be the last person because he doesn't know what's going to happen once the book leaves with him.
Once again, for Elizabeth, the Dragonborn assumes that you were referring to him being a Dragonborn, and are not quite clear on the language, despite your clear proficiency. But he just bows his head in greeting, or in a farewell rather, and the warp stone teleports you back. And then finally, when there's only Elvish left, he again motions a farewell, and if you will transport with the journal,
Yes.
nothing happens that you can see, and you are transported back to Neria. Actually, that's one too far. I'll put you here. This is good enough.
Okay. Elvish still has the book and it's still on his chest and
If you look up immediately, because you're transported back the same place that you were before, in the previous palace up there in the Dragonborn's area, there was another telescope that he had to adjust back to the correct, like looking to through the astral sea to the material plane, but it's accurate enough to where it transports you just outside the palace again. And from the vantage point where you're at, you can see the funnel of the rift closing up and sealing itself back, and all you see is just this cloudless sky, just as it was before this dungeon had spawned. And everything's a little bit more calmer than last time. Everything's a lot more organized. There's Imperial troops that are kind of stationed at the entrances, kind of checking people in or out of the palace. And go ahead.
The damage was still done though, right? It's not like it repaired all the damage that
Yes.
the palace.
Probably at least half the palace has caved in, and a lot of the rubble has been like sucked away, and it's no longer there. But yeah, most of the palace is destroyed. The Queen's chambers and all the kind of royal family areas have been destroyed.
We did it! It was easier than I was expecting.
Is the book still black?
Do you wish to check?
I will ask Elvish. Is the book still dark and black?
Okay. Can I use Dispel Magic on it?
You may, if you wish.
Yeah, I'll use Dispel Magic on it.
Okay, yeah, if you pull it out, open, it's still kind of covered with the swirling black darkness.
Okay. And I... Boom.
Are you casting it at 3rd level, it looks like? Or
Yeah.
that it is 3rd level? Okay, nothing happens.
Still black?
Well, you can make a check, right, against whatever that spell is, I think. The DC is 10 plus the spell's level on the book.
Okay, yeah, you can make a check. I guess that would be spellcasting ability.
Spellcasting ability, so
Rolling
that's...
at 20.
So that's a D20 plus 7?
Is that your spellcasting mod?
Wait. Give me a second. Casting mod plus
It would be, yeah, minus your proficiency for it, yeah. Oh.
Isabella would softly say to Elizabeth, it's like, the irony is I could probably read it without all this magic, but I don't want to intrude on my aunt's privacy.
I can't get rid of it. We can't read it. Isabella, please show me to the queen.
Would she be here? My father should be this way. I think the queen was taken to safety when this happens. Woo!
Butterscotch is the best.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you, Lady Elizabeth.
You're welcome. Does anybody else want butterscotch? It's been a rough day. Could use something sweet.
Did
Theron will take one.
someone mention butterscotch? And Duke Orsino comes out. And then you would probably very happily embrace Isabella, saying, "My daughter, you are safe."
Yeah, it was a lot easier than I was expecting.
I'm most pleased that you are back. And then he looks at kind of the party as a whole. Did you retrieve the journal?
Yes, it has been in the young Elvin Bard's care the most of the time. Although the diviner seems to try to read it, despite the orders not to.
I don't take orders from a girl who's pretentious and power hungry. We were there to do a job, and we got the book back. So
I am one of the potential next heirs to the Nerian throne.
I don't care. Royalty means nothing to me. I grew up in the hills where royal blood means nothing. So it doesn't matter.
Now, Isabella. These adventurers, they do not follow the same laws in their land as in Neria. They have a purpose, and we appreciate it. It is my understanding that nobody can read this journal except for my sister-in-law. May we please have the book? He holds out his hand.
Elizabeth puts a butterscotch in it, but watches with anticipation while petting the spider on her shoulder.
He glances over, pockets the butterscotch with kind of a half smile, and then kind of looks back to, I guess, Elvish.
Can I roll an insight on him and his intention?
Okay, sure.
Me seeing her I was gonna give you a portent dice before you rolled that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's
You'll
fine because
still-
you don't need it.
I mean, it would make it a 23, but
never mind. I'll shut up.
You can tell, Elvish, that Duke Orsino is very stiff and bristling, almost as if he's expecting for something to go down here that he was not expecting. And his right hand is kind of relaxed, but potentially ready to draw a rapier if needed. And for a moment, he glances over at some of the surrounding guards and then kind of looks back at you, his left hand extended out. He does not seem to be malicious at all, but now very nervous that you, as the adventuring party, might not give forth the journal.
Can you look him in the eyes and just say, "This goes directly to the queen. No one else, correct?"
At that, he'll look over at Glennon and just kind of lock eyes for a moment and just be like, "On my word and the honor of Neria, yes."
Please keep yourself and your daughter safe. But please don't make me babysit again.
Before Elvish hands over the book, can we get paid for job completion before we give you the book? Because we are owed a fee.
As promised. And he kind of snaps his fingers, and two of the guards kind of leave the pavilion, and the whole time he's just kind of staring at Glennon. And about 45 seconds later, they return with a chest, which they place down on one of the tables. They open it up, and there's just 5 satchels of platinum. 10 platinum pieces. Actually, is that enough? No, that's 100 gold, I think. It'd be 100 platinum pieces. The 1,000.
Can I pretend to go into a coughing fit and cast message to Elvish, Elizabeth, and Theron?
You can roll a stealth check, or that would be a bluff.
A deception.
Deception check.
So, did my portent dice get used earlier? Because I have 2 more, but
No, it'd be a 21. So
okay.
Elvish rolled
So
first.
I'm gonna just go ahead and use one of my other ones because I have a +0 and I don't trust my dice rolls right now. So I'm gonna give myself a 17 to deception.
Okay.
And while I'm coughing, just like making it seem like all of a sudden, like I look around and I kind of like basically like I got dust or something in my face, and so I like put my push my glasses up and I just start coughing, and I kind of look over my shoulder at Elvish, at Theron, and Elizabeth, and I'm like, get the money and get ready to run. Don't give him the book.
I answer him in stupid, like, no, don't do that. Like, I am not part of that plan.
Is it these 5 possible? Because I assume Isabel's still going to get 1,000, but not being handed out right now.
It's about to be.
DM, can I grab 2 pouches of platinum? What?
You guys are the worst party of all time.
I'll
Oh my
grab just
gosh.
the one because I'm not mean.
Okay.
So
So
I'm
I
assuming.
mean, can I grab
I don't
2
think. I
and
don't
then
think.
bring one over for Glennon?
Yeah,
Glennon.
that's what I
So-
assumed you were doing. I thought you were getting
And
my
then
book.
can I attempt to sleight of hand the book from him when I'm giving him after he's taken the money?
Oh, I don't have the book. Elvish does.
I have the book.
Then can I give it to Elvish? And can I attempt to sleight of hand?
I don't.
No.
I don't know if you can
Elvis has to be on
actively
board for that to happen. Oh my god, you
Like-
guys.
like I think like there's some things that even a 20 couldn't give. If I'm holding a book and someone tries to take it out of my hands while I'm
I mean, if I'm
looking at
giving you
it,
the money,
I
you're
mean-
gonna partially let go.
I mean, if
mean-
you have a book that looks like the book, then maybe. But we don't have a book that's black and shadowy and glowy and ominous as heck.
I think if you're trying to literally like just take it out of his hands, he would obviously know that's happening. But if you wanted to try that,
Okay.
but it wouldn't be
Should I try
secret.
that?
Elvish is handing the book to the Duke
Okay,
and says,
so
if you have any trouble with it, you know where the Adventuring Guild is, and there's some people that would like to study it.
So a lot. I think everybody has actions that they're wanting to do right now. So Elvish, you're in front of the Duke. You have the book out. He's just brought in the platinum. Theron, you're going over to the platinum desk and taking 2 bags. Glennon, you're casting message to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the middle of handing the book to him.
That's a fair point, Eric. Yeah, there would be 4 bags of gold, I guess. So, just in order of action economy, I would think Elvish, being that close to the Duke, would be able to pass it over to him. Theron has the 2 gold bags, and Glennon and Elizabeth, are you just in the background? I know Glennon casts a message, but as the exchange is happening, are you wanting to do anything?
Elizabeth is going to reply to the message in her head back to Glennon, but I'm just going to whisper it.
Okay.
Please, if she has any necessity of us, we have some researchers that would like to look into it, and I made really good friends with that dragonborn from the other side, and he was really looking forward to that solution that the queen was researching while she was over there. I really like to look into that as well to make sure that he gets help. He's still stuck there.
If my aunt knows anything that can help him, I will personally make sure you get the information, Elvis. Even if you considered me tagging along babysitting, I did help.
And I point to the wizard, and he is one of the brightest minds I know. So he would be very good at research if y'all needed any help. And
I beg your pardon, but Neria needs no help with our own property. This will go back to the Queen. It is hers. And that the job is done. And he motions towards the gold, which Theron already has. You'd pass the book. Actually, no, he wouldn't. He'd keep the book.
I'm not talking about helping him with the book. I'm talking about helping with the research for my friend.
Still coughing, I'm gonna walk over and grab my bag of gold.
Okay.
Put it in my bag.
Okay.
Isabella would go up to Elvis and say, "I promise on my honor as a noble, if I learn anything that would help your friend, I will let you know."
Yes. We will send a researching team to coordinate with. Potentially, we can send people back if we can find a way back. I know that the Queen wants these. We've already given her back the notes from the previous trip that you guys have, and I think she's got her mind on that realm.
And with that, he's basically handing Future's friend over to the Duke and Isabella. So he has a tear going down his cheek. And
Did you give him the Lincoln book? Or no? Oh no, Glennon has the Lincoln book, I think.
yes, Glennon,
I do.
Okay.
I do. I do not pull that book out. That book is still in my bag.
Okay. So, the Duke bows stiffly and turns to leave, motions for Isabella to follow, and begins to exit out the back of the pavilion unless anyone is stopping him.
Can I trip into Isabella?
I will grab my piece of my money.
Okay.
So Fernando's still right there. I think he might have issues with anyone doing that, especially back in palace grounds.
So
But I mean,
Fernando kind of tries to probably step in the way then to catch you if you were tripping.
Could I still attempt to?
Mhm.
Just what would I roll for that?
Are you trying to sleight of hand something or?
No, just I'm trying to trip into her so I can tell her something.
Okay, so then, yeah, I would say that just still roll a sleight of hand if you're trying to be kind of stealthily sneaky. I think that's appropriate.
I think you still have some of those dice. Since you're not trying to pickpocket her.
Plus and inspiration. So
Can you repeat that?
I think you still have bless and inspiration.
Bless is one
I
off.
think bless is long since wore off, but I think inspiration, that's definitely something that you might still have. I don't know because I don't have access to your sheet.
So it's a 10. Isabel, do you want to have Fernando roll an opposed sleight of hand?
Yeah. I mean,
Or
out of game.
if you
what he-
can, or you can just let it happen. It's your character.
Fernando would still try to stop it, but out of game, knowing that it's not pickpocketing. Hey, good. I rolled low.
Okay. Yep. So he tries to catch you and probably does grab your arm a little bit, but you kind of swerve around and you get close enough to whisper something.
I'm gonna tell her, get the book and run. Trust me.
Okay. Isabel, you hear that?
Yeah, I had that. I would think you were like.
Elish starts walking away with his gold.
The Duke exits the location.
She would mouth words, kind of like, I'm not sure. She kind of look back at there and like, I'm not sure what you mean, but she will kind of like looking like, thank you, question mark, and then make sure that her dad doesn't leave her sight.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry, I lost connection for a minute. Did you guys hear what I said?
Yeah, get the
Grab
book.
the book and run.
Yeah.
Okay. And what was Isabella's response, just so you can hear?
She was confused. She goes, the black one? But then as her dad starts to leave, she would kind of like look at him like thanking you, but kind of confused, and making sure her dad did not leave her sight as he leaves.
Okay. Yeah, he's exited out the place, but it's just a little bit over. So if you wanted to go run catch up, so you would you'd exit out, and the others, you're just surrounded in the pavilion with there's Narian guards kind of all around. Are you wanting to do anything else? You got your money.
Are you guys ready to go?
Elizabeth nods her head.
Come on, Elizabeth! As he's like walking further.
Elvish, come here. I can get us back real quick. Theron, you ready?
Yeah.
I pull out this scroll that I have. I would have started to learn the process of casting this. I would have started to redraw it, but I can't cast it technically from my own spellbook yet. I've written it down, but I can't use it. So I have it there. It's just this is casting from a scroll, not from my spellbook, because can't do that yet. So I look at the scroll. I start to weave some symbols in the air. I start to draw some runes on the ground. I put the scroll in the middle. I said, "You got 6 seconds." And I slam my hand onto the middle of this scroll. It ignites in some arcane purplish fire as you see all these runes all start to light up. And as we all step into this, it should, if my arcana knowledge is correct, it should teleport us back to the office where we took this job.
Okay. It's the teleportation scroll.
Yes, scroll of teleportation circle. Yep.
I remember from Katie's game, this teleportation circle was actually outside, behind the office, but basically just right next door. Yeah.
I think this is the one that Delric gave, though, which I think you can just teleport wherever, if I remember correctly.
Wasn't there bags of gold in his office as well?
There was. That would technically have been from the previous one, which you didn't get.
Yeah, that would be sent back.
So unfortunately, you do not get to double dip on that. But you arrive into the Dungeon Delvers Guild. Delric is out of the office at this point. He's either off in meetings or other effects have been going on, but you're able to return back, and you have completed the mission. The dungeon is closed. That kind of went off on a very different direction at the end, so thank you for playing. There's not really anything more to this, though I'm very curious to see what all your thoughts are with how that all went down. The game's officially over. You got your 1,000 gold. You get another level count for this game, so anyone who's 5 or above, you get the 0.5 or whatever kind of marker goes to your character. Anyone
Level
who's
7, yay.
Anyone who's level 3 will advance to 4. Anyone who's 4 will advance to 5.
I was expecting to have to use a lot more of my abilities. The only one damage was my bodyguard, and he didn't even break his temporary hit points.
Yeah, this really turned into more of a part 2 of the other dungeon.
Yeah.
There's a different dungeon over there that could be explored more, which I didn't do hardly anything with either of these games. So there's reason to go back if people want to try to go and do more in that shard plane.
If the queen finds like different things to help his friend, he would be the first in line.
For sure, yeah.
And why Isabel doesn't care much for Glennon, she would let Theron or Elvis Presley know about Elizabeth if need be.
It's okay. Depending on how things went, I was very seriously considering pushing Isabella off the broom when we were flying back from the rocks. I was thinking about it. I was like, no, that's too mean. I won't do that. But I thought about it. Oh, hey, 4th level spells now, though. Woo woo.
So Glennon isn't human? Or is it a man? I'm confused.
He's got a mix of kind of all features. So he is a non-binary character.
You like a roguish type person, like a Han Solo, or like a type character, but doesn't have a high opinion. But he respects your ability as a mage.
Yeah, no, he's just Glennon is just a wizard trying to.
Let's separate your ways and just go in for a group hug and just genuinely say thank you.
Hug has been returned.
Elizabeth's surprised, but she hugs back.
Theron offers.
But that's alright.
Theron offers you guys your daggers back.
You can keep it.
Princesses can has a healing touch like a paladin does, and then the one ability that I was really looking forward to in a hard fight was it's just like, do something, and you can you spend your reaction to get a full action. Do something.
Yeah.
That's really hard with the mace.
Nat 20.
Well, I'm gonna end the recording. I'll upload this second part later. Thank you all for playing.
Good.